Tonight's episode of the Tuesday Night Cigar Club is brought to you by Drew Estate. Come experience the rebirth of cigars at www.drewestate.com and download the free Drew Diplomat smartphone app today to discover nearby retailers, RSVP to special events, redeem points to win exclusive Drew Estate merchandise, and much, much more.
Mistake, but I'm having too much fun to wait. Flag her down when she comes back by. That one's yours and this one's mine. Bring another round. 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 Bring another round.
Here's the Suckles.
Good evening, brothers and sisters of the Leaf. Coming to you live once again from, well, all over the fucking place. It's the Tuesday Night Cigar Club. Tonight the boys congregate via live video, thanks coronavirus, you giant asshole, to celebrate their 6th annual St. Patty's Day drinking and then drinking ridiculous amounts more celebration extravaganza bonanza. Or some crazy bullshit like that. And joining the party this evening is Laurel Tilley, brand ambassador for Mackinudo cigars, to introduce the Inspirado Green cigar, which our favorite crew of tipsy knuckleheads will pair with an impressive line of craft beers. Sounds like we're in store for one hell of a good time, folks. So sit back, light 'em up, and enjoy the show.
Susan B. Anthony, Alexander Graham Bell, George Washington Carver, Henry Ford, the Wright brothers, Pocahontas, Jimi Hendrix, Steve Jobs, and Lana Del Rey, and yours truly, Matt A. Cade. What do all these people have in common?
Absolutely nothing.
Wrong. The answer is they're all groundbreakers, trailblazers, true heroes who made a name for themselves, some might say a legend for themselves in American history, because they did what no one else was able or willing to ever do before them. Their names imply a unique stamp made on society that so few of us can ever dream to make. So, Doctor, now you might be asking, why is my name mentioned alongside these all-time greats?
Oh, we have a good idea of why.
I was actually asking that from the beginning, but go ahead.
Well, I had labs done this morning for my yearly checkup. Routine blood work, nothing serious going on. So I was unable to consume the usual copious amount of cocktails needed to watch tonight's film 3 times and take my usual extensive detailed notes on it. So that's right, folks at home. Pick your jaws up off the ground. Matt A. Cade watched Leprechaun 4 in space 3 times, stone cold sober. Booze free.
Yeah, that is something of an accomplishment. I'll admit that. I'm still not sure it puts you in a same category.
An object of greatness or an object of sympathy?
Trailblazer, groundbreaker, American heel. It'll be interesting to see how the history books choose to handle what took place here by me in Central Texas this week.
Did you say American hero or American heel?
I think I said hero.
Okay.
Can you imagine watching this film sober 3 times? Come on, dude. That's some Wright brothers level stuff right there.
No, it's not terrible.
Leprechaun 4 in space. Can't wait to talk about it here in a little bit. But first,
it's got Willow.
It does have Willow in it. But first, we have some other business to do. Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club, episode 133. It is our 6th annual St. Patty's Day drinking and then drinking ridiculous amounts more celebration extravaganza.
I see the hat.
He's wearing the hat. That makes it official. 6 years. God, we've been doing this for 6 years. And we're still alive.
Still have livers.
Yeah. You party people
Been
ready to
going
party?
to the same party for 6 years, and in no way is that depressing.
No, not one bit, Yaks. Are you ready to party tonight, my friend?
I am.
And Yak Boy, I'm assuming that you're knee-deep in preparations for a rather large party yourself. The Texas governor gave everyone the green light to party their asses off. So tell the folks what's going to be going on at O'Brien's Irish Pub in downtown historic Temple, Texas on St. Patrick's Day.
As always, we will do our own extravaganza. We've got 5 bands. Be serving our wonderful Irish menu all day long.
Dude,
How many people are going to show up? How many people are going to take the governor's advice and just remove the mask and go screaming out into the open? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's not as many as, they just, have kept themselves sequestered and some large amount of repression is built up and they just literally dive into the pub. I don't need that.
World War Z, they're just literally crawling all over each other and get the credit cards first.
Oh, I am.
Before you run those tabs. Okay, well, everyone, if you are feeling adventurous, go out to O'Brien's Irish Pub in downtown historic Temple, Texas. I'm still not quite there on my adventure scale, but I will be thinking about you, buddy.
I haven't gotten my vaccine yet, but I'm eating everything in sight to kind of bump up a couple of pounds, get that 1B.
I just had to throw that in my face. Well, Mr. Fancy Pants, I'm getting my second shot in a week and a half. So,
those of us who abide by the rules of society and have not jumped in front of others are still waiting, but that's all right.
I jumped no one. So anyway, that's gonna be a good time, and we're gonna have a good time here tonight. Usually, I'll turn it over to Yak Boy now to introduce tonight's adult beverages to pair with our cigar and our film. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump up in front of things to the cigar first tonight. We featured a Mackinudo cigar here on the podcast previously. It was back in 2018, before the world came crashing down on our beautiful little party. It was on episode 72. We reviewed the Inspirado Red, and we all highly enjoyed it. It had a wasabi-like burn that just kind of hung in the nose. We all just loved that retrohale. It had a dominant, strong leather note on the draw that we all really dug. And looking back at my notes on it for tonight, we all, which is rare, commented on just how awesome it smelled. A lot of times the aroma doesn't really stick out to us, maybe because it's just we were all at that point we were all sitting together and it's just hangs so heavy over us. But we were all like, holy shit, this smells great. It's funny, when I went back to look at my Inspirado Red notes, I noticed this interesting tidbit, Tut. You might have had a few too many that night.
What?
Quote, prior to lighting up the Inspirado Red, there's an earthy aroma present when sniffing the foot. If you run your fingers up and down the cigar, the wrapper feels identical to a well-worn leather jacket. And then Tut said something to the effect of, it's like rubbing Indiana Jones back and forth in your hand, which I thought was a weird thing to say.
I don't remember that.
I bet cigar coops never use that description.
I personally have not heard that used before, but maybe I'll adopt that into my vernacular.
Well, there you go. Well,
I'm finally going to get to meet Harrison Ford and he's going, look at jackass and don't feel like that.
Everywhere I go now, guys are grabbing me.
I'm sorry.
So here tonight, we are featuring the Inspirado Green. First we did the red, now we're doing the green, which is only fitting as it is, as I said, our 6th annual St. Patty's Day drinking some more extravaganza, Bonanza, or something to that effect. And you may have heard her just a second ago. Here to introduce the evening cigar is our very special guest, Laurel Tilley, brand ambassador for Mackinudo. Laurel, welcome to the Corner of No Hope. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the invite. Happy to be here.
Well, Laurel, tell us a little bit about the woman behind the brand. Why did you get into the premium cigar industry?
So I started smoking cigars just recreationally when I was mean, I guess technically my first cigar was when I was 18. Started smoking them more avidly when I was about 19, 20. I moved up to Milwaukee for college, and I had some friends who stumbled upon a cigar lounge, and being underage and not able to go out and drink, we kind of used the cigar lounge as sort of our hangout. And I just fell in love with it. The employees there really made sure that you were getting exactly what you wanted. And I just always really enjoyed the social aspect of it. So I ended up working there for about 6 years while I was finishing up my undergrad. And then I got hired on by General Cigar back in 2016. So I'm at about 4.5 years with General, and just about 4 years with Mackinudo specifically. But it was one of those things that it was an unlikely love affair. Like, oh, I tried it because it was social and my friends were doing it. And then I just fell instantly in love with it. I love the product. I love the culture. And honestly, for my job, I don't think it really gets much better than that. I get to go around and in a normal world, talk to people in person, smoke cigars, spread the good word of Mackinudo.
Right.
So, yeah.
What were you studying?
So I went to school for advertising and public relations. Okay,
that fits. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, so semi-related.
Well,
there's some translation.
Yeah, there is. It's a hell of a lot more than what I'm doing with my degree. Speaking of which, what advice? Because that's a pretty impressive trajectory there. What would you, if someone out there was looking for a career in premium cigars, from the kind of the outside looking in, to make that huge shift from consumer and fan and member of the culture to actually getting a paycheck from it? I don't know, possibly a disgruntled podcast host who's burned a lot of bridges over the years from keeping it a little too real. What advice would you give me? I mean, what advice would you give them if someone was looking to make that switch? What do the good companies look for?
So I would say, I guess it just depends on what you're looking for. I mean, the majority of the positions out there, in my opinion, are sales. So, a sales representative for one of the companies, but, retail experience is nice, but it's not necessary. A passion for the product would be probably first and foremost, a certain level of knowledge, and also, honestly, just the ability to be on your own, be simultaneously an introvert and an extrovert. That's probably the weirdest part of my job, is I have to be so extroverted when I'm doing an event and seeing people, but then you're traveling alone and you're going back to your hotel alone and you're eating dinner by yourself a lot. And it is nice because you're so exhausted from talking to people all day. And then it's nice to sort of decompress by yourself, but you have to be very self-motivated, okay with spending time by yourself, but also okay with talking to 5,000 people a day. So sort of be able to pivot and just, there's always going to be something different. But I guess if you're trying to sort of get your footing in the industry, or get your foot in the door rather, just, talk to sales reps. The easiest way to sort of figure out what's available or what's even realistic is, go to a cigar shop. Talk to the people who are coming in, talk to the people who already work for companies, because at least to my knowledge, there's not a lot out there on the job postings and stuff for cigar companies. It tends to be more of a, who do you know, who can you talk to?
It's such a small little universe. I mean, it's such a this $1 billion industry, but really condenses down to a very small word of mouth kind of network of sales, and it kind of grows from there.
Yeah.
But,
and I mean, I got my start here from somebody that I know. I mean, I started in retail because I liked the product, but then I got a job there because I knew the people who worked there. And then I don't know if you know Dave Lampert. He actually owns a cigar shop in the Dallas area.
No.
He moved out there recently. I cannot remember the name of the shop. It'll come to me. But he was working for another company, and he had reached out to me saying that General was looking to hire someone for this position. So I only found out about it because of the people I already knew in the industry.
So get yourself out there, keep your ear to the ground, shake some hands, and be a good person who's willing to be malleable and do what it takes to kind of fit the job. Okay.
Yeah, just immerse yourself in it.
Yeah, which if you love cigars, that can be a fun thing.
Yeah,
no doubt. Sure.
Let me ask you this, because you mentioned events, and I have followed you on Instagram for a while, and I kind of scrolled back when I knew we were going to talk, and so many events. Not just
Yes.
not just the big four, the big five, yearly events across the nation, but just weekend after weekend visiting brick and mortar shops over the last year and a half now, or I guess a year, to go from that to transition to 2021 March, where we are now. How have you and Mackinudo dealt with that, that drastic of a shift in direction? Are you pretty much on Zoom with shops are y'all doing live events? Are you kind of, how does it, for someone who makes their living on the road, how has the last year been?
Yeah, super weird, to put it bluntly. Going from spending an average of 3 to 4 nights a week on the road every week. And like you were saying, it's brick and mortar. It's 3 to 4 events a week, every week. I mean, I was typically flying 48 weeks a year. When everything was shut down, it was easier because that was sort of what there was. But now if there's the option for people to say, oh, well, you can come in and do a cut and light, or we'll just run an in-store promotion and have people come in. So Zoom was more popular early on. I sort of took the reins of social media and did everything that I could with that. So we've got about 13 different cigars under the Mackinudo line. So every week I would review the cigar, sort of talk about the blend, pick a pairing to do with it. And then I talked to our tobacco procurement guy, Ernest, who is just a wealth of knowledge, and got some more sort of like in the weeds details of like fermentation and growth and tobacco viruses and all just this super like niche stuff within the cigar industry that didn't necessarily relate to Mackinudo specifically, and then do some videos on that. So I just really took the social media route and try to get myself out there and do lives on Instagram and Facebook and Zoom events. But yeah, I mean, it's all been basically this. I've probably done more interviews in the last year than I'll ever do in my life.
Well, if all goes well, maybe we'll be one of your last.
Well, I hope not. I mean, that sounds a little dire.
No, I just meant you'll be able to get back. If things go better here, you'll be able to get back out on the road. And,
I understand.
One of your last Zoom interview. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, well, no, after she's done dealing with us, she's like, I'm never doing this again.
That's it. That is my last interview. I'm not doing that ever again.
Yeah, well, we're just getting started here, boys. Okay, well, if you could, take us and our viewers and our listeners on a brief history of Mackinudo. I mean, this is a brand, Yak Boy. The first cigar I've ever saw in your mouth was a Mackinudo. This was back in our college days.
Yes.
You were a big Mackinudo guy. The cigar itself, I believe, goes back in the 60s. Is that where we first started seeing Mackinudos?
So Mackinudo was acquired by the Colemans in 1968.
Okay.
And it was introduced in the States in 1971. So yeah, it's been around for quite some time. It actually started as a front mark of Punch. So the name Mackinudo was developed back in 1868 and was just one specific line under Punch, under the Temple Hall factory. And then when Cuban tobacco started becoming outlawed in particular areas, especially like Britain, Mackinudo was separated from Punch and developed in Jamaica to offer something that did not have Cuban roots. And then the Colemans acquired it in 1968. Again, it came to the States in 1971. And they were really instrumental in building Mackinudo to where it is today, because Edgar Coleman, he put it in every hotel, golf course, restaurant, anywhere that it made sense to have cigars, and sort of put it out there as the cigar of all cigars. And it literally is what it is today because of that marketing strategy and what they did for the brand. Now, it has been around for a long time, but just in the last 6-7 years is when the innovation has really, really picked up. I mean, we have our core line, like the Mackinudo Cafe. We introduced the Maduro, the 1968, and the Cru Royale, and then a couple here and there that have since come off the market. But really in 2016 with the Inspirado line and then our flavored series, the M, the majority of the innovation has been really, really recently in the entire timeline of Mackinudo.
Yeah, I think it was back in about 2 years ago when we first kind of got samples of the M, which is something so off the course different for you guys. The coffee, the heavy coffee infusion, and then the Inspirado line, which was just do you ever wonder when you go in a direction like the Inspirado Red, and then we'll kind of go from there into tonight's cigar? The name Mackinudo is so synonymous with a lot of cigar smokers for a milder, creamier smoke. And that Inspirado Red was, I mean, it had some heft to it. I mean, it had some, like I said, that wasabi spice was so distinct, and that strong leather note. I mean, from a marketing angle, are you ever worried of, to put the Mackinudo name on something so drastically different? Are you hoping that those loyalists that always go, every week go into the brick and mortar and grab a handful of Mackinudos, that because that name, that maybe this is like a gateway to them to kind of, they'll trust the name, they trust the quality. So this is kind of us giving them a little nudge into a new direction? Or is there any fear there? Like, man, we've got something really good here. Let's not fuck it up,
No, and that's a really awesome observation. And honestly, the biggest issue that I ran into when I started is, when they hired me to be sort of the face of Mackinudo back in 2016, it was when we first introduced the Inspirado into the States. And that was really the first major innovation and major push that we were doing to sort of get people to think differently about the brand. Because you are 100% spot on with saying that Mackinudo has, for a very long time, been synonymous with a mellower cigar. Typically people, their knee-jerk reaction is thinking of that Cafe series. And I swear, if I had $1 for everybody who told me that the Mackinudo Cafe was their first cigar, I literally would not have to work a day in my life.
Yep.
And, we don't want to discount that blend, because that's legitimately what the brand was built on.
No, it's a great cigar.
And we don't want to say like, oh, we're trying to get away from that Mackinudo Cafe, but the market is changing. People want something different. They want something more complex. They want something using more unique tobaccos. I mean, we're in the golden age of cigars, and there's so many amazing boutique companies out there and so many wonderful cigar offerings that even though the Mackinudo Cafe is still our #1 selling cigar and still has, a really firm grasp within the market, we need to offer something else, which is what the Inspirado series does. Even our Inspirado White, it's mellower, but it's completely different from the smoking experience of the Cafe. So to your point, is it something that people can trust? Yes, it's Mackinudo. It's going to be consistent. It's approachable in price. It's pretty ubiquitous. I mean, you can find it pretty much anywhere to some capacity. And people know what they're going to get with it. And the nice thing is, being the size of company we are, we can release more unique blends with typically more expensive tobaccos at a more approachable price point.
Sure. So, when you look at some of the ingredients in these Inspirados, definitely, it impresses. I couldn't help but notice you said that you were brought on as the face of Mackinudo right when they kind of decided to do this push with these new, bold kind of expansions. So do you think, like, if they just tanked and it was a horrible disaster, it'd be like, just blame the new girl and
Right. Well, I mean, I didn't think about it that way, but I hope not. But no, I think it was more of just an overarching, like, we want people to think differently about the brand. We obviously want to still respect what we have, but give people the opportunity to experience something that we are doing that's new and continuing to develop and innovate.
Well, I was joking, obviously, but it does make sense, that for you to come on at that time when they were kind of doing these new innovations is kind of, at that point, 2016-ish, is when, if you didn't have somebody on top of social media and to kind of all the successful, even the boutique brands were kind of starting to rely on a face to the brand. If you didn't have a personality that you could not relate to, but a personality that you could put a face and a name to that brand around, that's around that kind of those years there where it just became, if you didn't have that, you were really kind of missing the boat and missing opportunities, because that's when just a shitload of cigar smokers were flocking to the big Facebook groups cigar groups on Facebook. And these, the smart ones were interacting with them, and you kind of felt like you had someone to ask questions to, and you kind of, it was really smart of Mackinudo to kind of set in their traditional ways to, go with the flow and actually roll with it to kind of the extent that you're everywhere now.
Oh yeah. Put a person, make it relatable. Yeah. And the style of company that we are, you know, we don't have a Cynthia Fuente, we don't have a Jonathan Drew, we don't have a Rocky Patel, because we've been around for so long and we've continued to acquire companies. You know, we acquired CAO, and we, you know, had acquired Tarania. We had the Temple Hall factory with Mackinudo and Punch. And because of this history of the brands and just the way that General Cigar was built, we don't really have those people. So you've got Rick Rodriguez with CAO, you've got Sean Williams on Cohiba, Justin Andrews on Diesel, me on Mackinudo. So I absolutely think, I mean, it was obviously strategy on their end to sort of have this person who can go do events. You know, we're behind the blending, we're on the blend selection panel, we, you know, have input and say in, you know, what is coming to market. And it's, yes, I agree that it makes total sense, especially at that time when everybody was so active on social media and wanting to do these events. And, you know, as much as the pandemic sucked, I think that this is creating a little bit, or it's helping alleviate that event fatigue. And I'm really excited to come back and see how things will start up again.
Yeah, we spent the previous 2 years working for Drew Estate, traveling to all their barn smoker events.
Okay.
And I can't imagine after a year and a half or 2 years of no barn smokers. I mean, that place is going to be just crazy bonkers. Like, people
for
are
sure
going to be going nuts. But no, I just think to find those unique individuals. You mentioned Rick with CAO and Justin and Sean with Cohiba and yourself, you know, to find people that are not only product knowledgeable, but industry knowledgeable, tobacco knowledgeable, but also just likable. And you know, people like to follow their stories. People like to actually meet them and to hold a conversation with them. I mean, it can't be that easy to find those, to fill those roles. And I think General's done a really good job with it. So I guess that brings us, since we're talking Inspirado, we're talking about the future of Mackinudo. It brings us to tonight's cigar, the Inspirado Green.
The green, which, sorry, I started smoking it earlier before I jumped on the show.
We're going to be lighting up as soon as you graciously exit the party, because we did it once where we actually smoked the cigar while interviewing, I think it was like Steve Saka or Pete Johnson or somebody, and everything is, he was describing what the intent of the blend was. All of a sudden we're like, yeah, I am getting sawdust and pencil shavings right at the beginning of the 2/3, just like you said, Pete. Like it's too much. There's too much.
Yeah, it's like he's incepting it.
Yes. So we don't do that anymore.
No, and that totally makes sense. And, you know, Rick actually has that point. He doesn't like to tell people what they're supposed to experience, because if I tell you that your cigar is supposed to taste like Captain Crunch, and it does taste like Captain Crunch, well then, you know, I'm full of it. And then if I tell you it does and you don't experience it, and you're like, well, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my palate or the cigar? And then it's like, you know, everybody's palate is different.
Yeah.
And everybody receives something differently. So it's important to go into it fresh and unbiased to experience truly what you experience. So I get it. I totally do.
Well, it is our St. Patty's Day episode, so we may taste notes of Lucky Charms.
Oh, that would have been a better reference. I was just thinking Captain Crunch because it's on my counter. I had it saved for lunch.
Well, without telling us what to expect flavor-wise, how about you tell us a little bit about the blend and what we can expect, you know, strength and body-wise. Let's go there.
Sure. So the Macanudo Inspirado Green is our newest full run Mackinudo for the Inspirado line. In fact, it's the last innovation that we had back in August of 2020, which seems like simultaneously a lifetime ago and a month ago. Yeah. Time is so arbitrary in the pandemic. It's like I have no concept.
It's very bizarre.
When is when, but it's actually the first time we're using Brazilian Arapiraca wrapper or any Arapiraca for the Mackinudo line. So if you're familiar with the CAO Brasilia, that also shares an Arapiraca wrapper. The difference is that has all Nicaraguan binders and fillers, so it tends to have a little bit more spice forward. So Arapiraca wrapper, Indonesian binder, and then Dominican Piloto Cubano and Colombian for the filler. So I don't want to like tell you what the smoking experience should be like. I'll let you guys sort of dive into that on your own. But as far as strength goes, I would say medium plus. Same with the body. And the orange still holds a special place in my heart. It's my favorite of the Inspirado line, but honestly, the green is closely number 2.
Okay, we actually don't. I the Brazilian tobaccos that we have had, can we expect some? They have a very unique characteristic, a sweetness that's I kind of find this unique sweetness in the Brazilian wrappers. There's some spice there for sure, but there's this unique kind of chewy sweetness that I get on Brazilian tobacco. It's almost like a chewing tobacco kind of. I don't know how to describe it other than a juicy.
I almost get like a dried fruit sweetness because it's not overly sweet. I mean, you don't get like sugars, but it's just this interesting complexity of being like sweet, but then like a little earthy and a little spicy. So there's just something about Brazilian tobacco, like our Baraka specifically. I find Mata Fina to be a little bit more black pepper forward, where this is a little bit more subdued. But yes, you are going to get a lot of interesting depth and complexity simply within the wrapper. And then the reason we did the Indonesian binder and then the Dominican and Colombian filler is to sort of highlight that wrapper because there's so much going on with it. We didn't want to compete with everything else.
Yeah, the Indonesian certainly stays out of the way of most things, but it also can give you that kind of nice little tea in there. And then, man, why don't we see more stuff with Colombian tobacco?
Honestly, I don't know. I personally love Colombian tobacco. I love the CAO Colombia. I think that the tobacco on its own is just not intense enough, if that makes sense. Like, it's fine as a component for something else to be in a cigar, but to have a really Colombian heavy cigar, I just don't think there's enough to it. Also, Colombia, to my knowledge, is not big in tobacco growing. They're more into coffee. So they're just, as far as from an agricultural standpoint, the space that is used to allocate for tobacco may just not be there. I'm not entirely sure, but that would be my best guess. And just from the tobacco side, it's just something that isn't necessarily, it doesn't stand out in a lineup if you have other things to choose from.
It's the parsley of tobaccos.
I mean, parsley, I agree. It's like, if it's there, it's good and it makes sense. But a dish that's 80% parsley. Who wants that? But isn't that chimichurri? And I love chimichurri.
That's pretty good.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be argumentative here.
No, there goes my theory. No.
But that's the only one.
You are the first of about 30, 45 times tonight I'll be told I'm wrong. So
okay, perfect. Glad I could start this.
It'll be significantly more than that.
Doctor, I was being nice to myself.
That's just the mean average.
Well, let me ask you this. And yes, I realize as a smarter podcaster, a smarter host than myself would have asked Laurel this prior to acquiring his beers for the night. I'll blame this lapse of forethought on the coronavirus like I do everything else these days. Hey, Matt, did you pick up the kids from preschool? Oh, babe, coronavirus. I meant to. What would you recommend pairing-wise, adult beverages, to go with the Inspirado Green? And I really should have asked you this earlier, and I would have.
That's okay.
I would have gone and bought whatever you said, but here we are.
It's pretty simple, honestly. But the two drinks that I like to pair most with it still use ginger beer as a base. A dark and stormy is my number one. I really like that spice rum with it. It has a little bit of that sweetness and a little bit of that spice. I think it really nicely emulates the flavor of the tobacco. And then that ginger beer gives a little bit of that bite and it's a little bit fresher. And then you get the lime. You don't really get any citrus from the cigar itself, but it's a nice complement. And then also a Moscow Mule. But I'll get a little fancy with the mule and I'll use like a different flavored vodka, like a grapefruit or, peach or something if I want to do it a little bit more fruity. But yeah, I would say if I could choose one drink, I typically do a dark and stormy. Okay.
But bringing citrus into the equation is a good idea.
I think so. I don't think it competes with it. I wouldn't go overly citrusy. I wouldn't do something, I'm trying to think of a drink that has just like a super citrus heavy notes.
Well, I'm actually drinking my follow-up beer tonight, the Kung Fu Robot. Remember that one, boys?
Oh yeah.
No, I
yeah.
do.
So you're going to have some citrus forward stuff right there.
Yeah, there's some really nice, not overpowering, but really it's an IPA, but it actually is a very citrus forward IPA.
Okay.
But so I think that might maybe I'll bump that ahead of the Deftones. The Deftones beer is kind of tone deaf so far. So
It's cool though. I mean, I wouldn't do like an orange juice based drink with it, but if you're doing a little hint of lime, or if you have that beer that has the citrus notes in it, I think that the lime and then the citrus qualities really complement it nicely.
Well, Laurel, you're just going to have to watch the whole episode when it airs to find out which of our 4 beers work the best.
Okay.
If any of them work at all.
I will wait with bated breath.
Don't do that. It's not worth it.
And so, Chad, an hour from now, we don't want to hear you say, "Damn it, I can't taste that Cap'n Crunch he was talking about."
Right?
I'm totally going for it.
that whole
Man.
thing
I'm
up.
going for it.
Dude, after 2 hours of talking about Leprechaun 4 in space, I'm going to be so hammered. I will be like, she said there was Captain Crunch.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't, Gabe.
Thank you. No, I did not. I told you I didn't want you to tell you that it tasted like Captain Crunch.
Well-
Also, I stand by my Captain Crunch reference because Lucky Charms, not that good.
It was,
Oh.
do you know this?
Well, hang on, because you can take Captain Crunch, put it in a blender, and then make a coating for your salmon, and that is awesome.
Oh, I do Captain Crunch chicken.
Ooh, Captain Crunch chicken.
Yeah.
See?
Yes, you
That's
do a little bit like
okay.
that within the breading, and it gives that crunch. Yeah, super good. But salmon, would not have thought about that.
Yeah.
This is all over.
Yeah.
You guys are blown me away here. Did you know this, Laurel? The doctor and I were having a conversation in the car today. Do you know what the name of the leprechaun is from Lucky Charms cereal?
I don't know if I even knew he had a name.
He does have a name.
Then I do not.
Lucky.
Well, that's his nickname, but he actually has a formal name dating back to when the cereal was first released. Sir Charms.
Sir Charms, how regal.
I know I was going to make that my Zoom name tonight, but we'd never met Laurel, so I didn't want to confuse you. Like, who's this asshole, Sir
Do
Charms?
I really have to call him Sir Charms?
No.
You totally should have.
No.
Oh, man.
Laurel, before you leave, have you ever seen any of the Leprechaun films?
I've seen 1 and 2, and I don't want to say I was not impressed, but you really have to be in the right state of mind.
What
That's
state
like
of
a couple
mind? What
beers
state of
in.
mind is that, Laurel?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That state of mind.
Blood alcohol content around the Rangers' team batting average, about 2.17.
Yeah, that would help.
There you go.
It was the big screen debut of one Jennifer Aniston.
Yes, yes. Also,
Uh,
did we cover why you watched it 3 times?
I watched this movie tonight, sober 3 times. Yeah, I basically what I do is I vet a ton of films for us to do on the show, and once I finally settle on one, I'll watch it again to make sure I didn't screw up in that decision, and then I watch it a 3rd time and actually take the notes, because what we do here basically is it's like an old time radio play. We take you through the movie and we tell you the story of the movie. We don't just
Okay.
kind of give you the, yeah, it stars this is what happens. No, we actually take you through the film and we kind of dissect it scene by scene, and it's kind of this exercise in drunken what am I looking
Film
for, doctor?
school.
Here? It's like a drunken film school where we heavily
Oh, we
encourage our
go deep.
listeners.
Yeah, we go deep.
We have a lot of listeners who've never picked up a cigar before. They're film people or they're
Okay.
beer people. So our mission in life is to suck those people in and talk so sexy about that cigar that they will go. And we get stories that's so awesome when someone listens to a show like, God damn it, you made that cigar sound so good. I mean, Tut's talking about getting notes of like buttered toast in that cigar. I got to go find this thing.
Right?
Who doesn't want to smoke buttered toast?
So I think Laurel's
Yeah.
question, why did you watch it 3 times? And I think the answer is either he's a meticulous professional or hopelessly insane, and you have to kind of figure out in between those two where it falls on the spectrum.
Straddling the line a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
As French composer, what's his name? Once
As
said,
French composer LeBlanc Lebu says,
every podcast needs that host of madness.
somebody's got to do it.
That's
again.
fun though. And is it always, I mean, I assume I don't want to say like Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun
No.
in Space, where it was like legit, but I feel like you have a whole like range of movies that.
No, this isn't Mystery Science Theater. This is we do new movies, new release movies.
Okay.
We do. I'm a big. Before I started doing this, I was really I was a filmmaker. I made a horror film. So we're a couple of us are really big horror guys, but we don't. That's not our.
Yeah,
well, that's our
bread.
Well, that's our bread and butter. Tut up there, it's not. So he's kind of made us keep that to a little chunk around Halloween. We'll do like our March to Halloween, about 4 horror movies.
Chunk
we do a lot
around
of
Halloween. It's like 1 in 4 movies is a horror movie.
We do a lot of comedies. We do a lot of everything, but we also go back a way. We'll do like Pretty in Pink. We'll do we'll do all sorts. Can't Buy Me Love. We're kids of the '80s, so we do a lot of stuff that we grew up with. And what is your favorite movie? Just non-horror or Leprechaun related?
Non-Leprechaun.
Probably Young Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I could watch that movie
Frankenstein,
once
please.
a day. In front, I don't know. I love Mel Brooks, but that movie in particular, I just love.
Good answer.
Well, thank you. You should talk to one of the. We've got a gentleman who works for us who is from the film industry. He started Chegg. I don't know if you remember Chegg. That was like
Chugg, the website. Chugg.
Yeah, Chugg. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like the CNN movie reviewer for a long time. Yeah, he's our regional manager in the Southeast, Nick. He's a really good dude. So you probably have a great conversation with him.
I used to check Chud out every day.
Yes, yeah. He's awesome. So
Do you know what Chud stands for?
I don't actually.
I believe it stands for City Humanoid Underground Dwellers.
Okay.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground.
Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers.
Yeah. Very interesting. He worked in film for a very long time, and he's in the Atlanta area. So obviously, as you know, there's like a lot of films made there. So,
Well, a small world.
Yeah.
It is. Okay. Well, if we ever do Young Frankenstein, you got to come back and join us. You can stick around.
For sure.
Stock up the fridge. You can do the long 4-hour marathon with us that night.
Awesome. Well, I'll watch it, 3 times before we get back on. So.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to. The last thing, and this is a big thing, I'd like to use this opportunity with Laurel here to announce that Mackinudo has come on board as our newest sponsor to the show.
Whoa!
Tut, do you have like an applause sound effect you can put in there? Still working on that.
The great effect there, Tut.
Hey, maybe with some of that Mackinudo money, we can get that applause button.
Boom, boom, boom.
So you'll be getting all the latest Mackinudo updates during our upcoming programs. And Yak Boy, I thought about you when this news came down. As a lifelong Mackinudo smoker, this has to be like full circle, man. Like it has to be kind of a cool feeling.
I'm completely excited. This is something that,
if babyface Texas A&M freshman Yak Boy could see you now, a internet podcast star,
crying.
being sponsored by the one and only Mackinudo, your little 19-year-old head would explode.
That's awesome. It all comes full circle.
Full circle. Sometimes things work out really cool. Well, Laurel, it was a pleasure having you join us. Hey, real quick before we leave films, you're in Milwaukee?
I am.
Have you ever seen an American movie?
No.
Check it out.
Okay, American movie.
It is a documentary shot in and around Milwaukee.
Okay.
Starring the most unique character. Well, I don't know. There might be like a million of those doctor up in Milwaukee. Like we think he's so unique, but
maybe he's just a normal guy.
What was his name?
He's like the norm up there. His name's Mark Borchardt.
Okay.
He became kind of a cult character after the movie, American movie, kind of documenting his life as a filmmaker in the Milwaukee area.
Okay.
This is coming from a guy who hates documentaries. I'm not a documentary guy. It's one of my top 3 movies of all time. I watch it at least twice a year. I feel like I've been to Wisconsin just from watching this movie so much. But as a Bears fan, I will never go up there, obviously.
You're a Bears fan, really?
Yeah.
We all have our faults. It's fine.
That's what we say all the time.
I'm willing to admit it.
It's fine. My husband's a Bears fan too, as is my father.
Oh, there you go. It is a sickness that cannot be treated by modern medicine. Only more of this stuff. But yeah, check out American Movie.
I will.
It is a brilliant, brilliant film. So thank you, Laurel, for both your time and your knowledge. And I look forward to coming down to an event somewhere in Texas, hopefully, and getting to light up a smoke with you in person.
For sure.
Me and the boys will come down there and things will be back to normal before you know it. And we can all do that. And if it doesn't happen and things get much worse, we can always Zoom again.
We can always Zoom again. This was super fun. Thank you so much for the invite. Happy to be here. I truly hope that you guys enjoy the cigars and, have fun on the rest of your show with your St. Patrick's Day episode.
We have yet to not have fun. And thanks again. Let's do this again. I really appreciate your time.
Sounds good. Thank you guys so much. Nice to meet you.
Hey, thanks, Laurel.
You too.
Bye.
Man, how cool is that?
Yeah, I want to thank Laurel Tilley from Mackinudo for joining us. That was a hell of an introduction. Usually it's just me telling you about the cigar. We actually got someone who knew what they were talking about.
So I wonder if she was like, calling up her boss right now. She was like, hey, does that sponsorship mean I have to do more shows with them?
Real quick before we light up, just because she didn't give the specific, we are smoking tonight the 6x50 Toro size of the Inspirado Green. Speaking of cigars, y'all know who makes some really good ones?
Who's that?
That's right, Yak Boy. Our good friends over at Drew Estate. And one of the most delicious offerings in their vast portfolio is the Herrera Esteli Miami, crafted by Level 9 Cuban rollers at the famed El Titan de Bronze and Calle Ocho. The Herrera Esteli Miami line is expertly rolled with a lavish Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro wrapper over a rich Ecuadorian Sumatran binder with select fillers from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. The new look of Herrera Esteli Miami features a rich black and gold packaging, and it's available in 5 sizes. This delicious cigar is now available at Drew Diplomat retailers everywhere, so go get you some.
Hey, Thomas Ingalls says American Movie rules.
Thomas Ingle, you rule. Guys, can we take
I guess I'm going to have to watch that movie. I haven't seen it yet.
What?
I know. I haven't seen it.
Guys, can we
Tut watching that movie right here. You see what I'm doing? I'm picturing Tut seeing it, and he's getting all the subtle nuances, everything I'm trying to do.
Hey, doctor, can you check and make sure everybody has green shirts?
I've got one.
No, that was the line from the movie, remember? Hey, Mike, check, make sure everybody's got brown gloves. Has everybody got brown gloves?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Okay, before Yak Boy introduces the beers, though, Tut, I'm about to light up. Man, there's that sweetness on that cold draw. Mm-hmm. If you smell the foot of that cigar, rich, chewy sweetness.
Yeah, that's weird because I was getting some like barnyard.
I'm getting barnyard, just that kind of barnyard smell off the wrapper itself. But when you smell that foot, yeah, there's a little bit of sweetness there. But man, on the draw, it's a really rich.
Yeah, you do get a nice little sweetness there.
So let's set fire to these things. And Yak Boy, as always, is going to tell us about what we're drinking tonight. Remember, we're reviewing Leprechaun 4 in Space. It is our St. Patty's Day episode, drinking Extravaganza Bonanza. So we're going to be smoking the Macanudo Green. And I don't care what you fuckers say. My shirt has green stripes on it. And
they're greenish.
I am going to start with the doctor because look who came to the party pairing his beer right out of the gate. Love it. Tell us what the doctor's drinking.
The good doctor has the Space Camper Cosmic IPA as he's holding up on the screen right from Boulevard Brewing. The good people at Boulevard started back in the glorious year of 1989. They've been rocking it since the 80s.
Good year.
Wow, the doctor was kind of hesitant because he had never heard of Boulevard. I hadn't either. They've been around since the fucking 80s.
Yes, Kansas City. The Space Camper, it's 5.9%, 50 IBUs. They give it the notes of saying it's a juicy IPA. You're going to take the use of the hops really loads it in towards the end. You end up with what they give as notes of like tropical fruit. So we'll have to go to the doctor to see if he picks up on that or what he picks up while he's drinking it. But yes.
Do you think the Space Camper was one of the 5 craft beers at the Peach Pit?
It could have been. It could have been if it was around in '89.
They had all the craft beers at the Peach Pit.
All 5 of them.
Okay. That sounds good. I can't believe Boulevard slipped past our radar. All right, let's get it over with. What's Tut drinking?
Tut has gone with the most Irish of beers ever.
And I won't apologize for it.
He went with the greatest, most prolific stout in the entire globe. Anywhere on this earth you can go and you will find a delicious Guinness. Started by Arthur Guinness back in the glorious year of 1759. The oldest.
I think it was just them.
Before the U.S. was even founded, this beer existed.
Yeah, I think it was just them and Boulevard Brewing back then.
Pretty much. It was just those two guys.
Nobody's going to give you shit for drinking a Guinness for our St. Patty's Day episode, Todd. It's just one of the best things ever invented, beer or otherwise.
You can put chocolate, coffee, molasses, king cake, stout cake, whatever you want into your stouts, and you got to come back to perfection every single time. I have searched over, I keep looking for it, and there's just nothing better in terms of stouts than Guinness.
It's damn good. And surprisingly low in calories compared to a lot of beers. But you must, I know tonight we're all drinking out of our O'Brien's Steins. Let's see it, Doctor.
Well, I'm not drinking out of it.
I bet the guy who's actually at O'Brien's right now isn't drinking out of it. That tracks. But when you do go to O'Brien's Irish Pub in downtown historic Temple, Texas, get it in the is it a tulip glass or a tunip glass? What is it called?
Tulip.
It's a tulip. Or a goblet. Either way, we'll accept it.
The tulip glass is the only way to drink it. It gets that perfect amount of head on there, and it's a wonderful.
It's the glass
opens up the waft of auroras.
The tannins.
The tannins, yes. The tulip is the ideal glass for Guinness. It allows the cascade to run its full course, so that you end up with that glorious, just perfect. I say like 3/4 inch head on that beer, and it just gets everything. It is the cream. It is the icing on that cake.
Well, we love that 3/4 inch head. Do you ever get customers at the pub who bitch about it? Like they want their beer all the way to the top?
They can go fuck themselves.
There we go. Good answer. Good answer. Tut, I can't remember getting such a chocolate presence through the nose. Are you getting a kind of a cocoa with that? It's a minimal spice on the nose. I'm not getting a huge blast of pepper on the retrohale, but I am getting like this cocoa, which I usually never get, only through the draw.
No, I'm definitely not getting cocoa. I'm getting a subtle spice on the nose, and that's about it.
It is subtle, and then man, like a really warm oak on the draw. You're getting like a kind of a nice full woodsiness on the draw.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether that's oak that is, but it's definitely a woodsiness on that draw. There is something else dancing around. It's a little flavor bomb that kind of comes in there and just teases you for a little bit. I'm hunting for it.
Ramen noodles.
Mm-mm.
No, that was bullshit. All right. Well, let's leave you, Yak Boy, for last, since St. Patty's Day is your holiday. What am I drinking tonight?
From the wonderful people over at the Belching Beaver Brewery, located in wonderful Oceanside, California, going all the way back to the glorious year of 2012. The Deftones Phantom Bride India Pale Ale. Sweet IPA, rocking in at 7.1% ABV. And now they throw it in at 55 IBUs. So I'm curious, because I mean, they give that sweet can. It's got the skull on it. It's got
It might actually be the first honest assessment of IBUs by a brewer we've had on the show. I'd put that right about 55. Yeah, the bitterness is minimal. It's got a wonderful citrus aroma to it. The aroma immediately grabs you, but yeah, man, it's mellow. It's smooth. There's a maltiness to it, which actually makes that whatever IBUs are there even a little more subdued and muted, because you get that maltiness, but mixed with that kind of citrus element. There's a little bit of orange, maybe a little bit of grapefruit. But yeah, I put about 55. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's certainly going to stay out of the way of any cigar I'm smoking. So I picked it because obviously tonight the Leprechaun finds himself a bride, and this is the Phantom Bride IPA. And also, during the pandemic last year, I discovered the Deftones, a band that's been around for a long time, and I never really paid any attention. And they released a song called Ohms in the middle of the pandemic. I really liked it. I kept listening on the radio, and it was really, really good. It had Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains playing guitar. That was on the actual Phantom Bride song. I'm sorry. But yeah, their music's not bad. And I usually hate all music. But yeah, the Deftones are okay, and they collaborated on so far an okay beer. I do have a follow-up beer, but it's one that we featured before, so I'll let Yax mention that later on, because I think as the master of ceremonies tonight, Yak Boy, everyone wants to know what you're drinking.
Trying to find something, but I was like, I couldn't figure out which way to go. Do I want to go to the space theme because of Leprechaun in space, or I'm going to go with the Irish theme? And I came across this. This is called the Irish Goodnight. It's by Avery Brewing Company. They're located in Boulder, Colorado. Been making beer for over 25 years, since about 95. And this is from their Barrel Age series. 59th in the series. The Irish Goodnight is a imperial milk stout aged in Irish whiskey barrels. So, and it's rocking in at a 16% ABV.
I believe
so I will be nursing this.
I believe you only bought one of those.
I only bought one. I'm like, I'm going to buy this. Maybe I'll buy this entire thing. Like, no, I saw that they were selling it by the bottle, so I'm like, I'm going to buy just one.
How much was that bottle?
This bottle was $14.
So you paid $14 for that beer.
Oh yes.
Is it good?
So far. It is in a lot of the barrel aged beers, you end up with a really strong that bourbon barrel, whatever they use, you end up with it's just like a
smokiness.
Right. It's not even like you're like drinking beer, you're drinking whatever that barrel was.
Yeah.
This is still beer. This is and I like the fact that in this instance they used a milk stout, because you're getting it is a very sweet milk stout in that sense, because it's picking up that from the barrel. But it's that I'm not sitting here going, oh, I'm getting kicked in the face with whiskey. I'm not getting that at all. And considering how strong it is, I'm actually not really getting kicked in the teeth with that alcohol. just pure alcohol. So I'm liking it right now. Like I said, I'm gonna take my time with this.
Okay. Well,
Effectively, I've got 5 beers in one glass.
Gotcha. Let us know when you shift gears to another one, and I will do the same. Tut, before we move into the movie here, which won't take us too long, it's Leprechaun 4 in space. I've got that slight pepper tingle on the nose with some a surprising, for me, a dark chocolate through the nose, which I can't remember that ever showing up on a retro hell for me before. And then I've got that warm oak on the draw, and they're starting to get kind of a coffee presence there with that oak. Yeah, it's working good. And I know that's not coming from my beer.
I'm still getting like just teased with this little bit of spice sweetness on the draw.
Some spicy sweetness on the draw.
On the draw.
Man.
And by the way, that retro is very pleasant. I'm not getting the dark
You're not getting, yeah, but
getting.
for me, it's super pleasant because a little bit of pepper and some dark chocolate. Oh, yeah. Man, that's nice. Okay. Well, boys, let's keep drinking, and I will introduce tonight's film. Leprechaun 4 in Space, 1996. Was that a good year, Doctor? Did we have a good 1996?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. I thought so too. I thought that was right in our prime.
Hopefully, we were just at that point coming into it, but
yeah. We of course
tail end of it. I don't remember.
Hey, I remember so little. We of course discussed 2018's Leprechaun Returns back on our 3rd annual St. Paddy's Day drinking and chugging beer and drinking stupendathon. And here we are about to see what mischief this little guy gets into up in space. How could this go wrong?
Myriad ways, laddie.
Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, it goes wrong. I could have swore we did more Leprechaun movies. I was like, all right, let me see where we're at here. I guess we've probably done 3 or 4 of these things. No, we only done 1.
No, but we talked about like all of them in the Leprechaun Returns deal. I was kind of surprised you went to the Leprechaun bucket again.
Well, like I said, Tut, I drink a lot, and I thought this was our regular thing. Like, oh, St. Paddy's Day, gotta do another Leprechaun movie. Now I'm realizing that's not what we do at all. Well, we did that Leprechaun in a beer bottle movie. Getting lucky.
Well, yes, that doesn't count as a Leprechaun movie.
Flexeter.
He never killed anybody.
Well, he killed some livers,
except that nerd's liver. Which, if you ask me, he had that coming. I love watching us all take swigs from these giant. On the count of 3, everybody take a swig. 1, 2, 3. It's not the same because Cody doesn't have one.
But I have a hat. Do you have a hat?
No, you got the hat. Everything's fine.
That's right.
Everything's fine.
Maybe the hat needs to go up 1.
No,
not yet. Not yet.
Fucking tease.
Out.
Damn right I am.
The film is written by Dennis A. Pratt, based on characters created by Mark Jones in the original film. And it's directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. Does that name ring a bell?
No.
Oh, he directed the previous installment, Leprechaun 3. That I do know.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh, I almost said that like Leprechaun. Oh, did he? Well, Tut, like myself, you drink a lot, so I'll understand that it doesn't ring a bell. Our last episode of 2020, just a few short months ago, we featured another film directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. This is our 2nd Brian Trenchard Smith film. Remember Turkey Shoot?
Oh, hey, that was pretty good.
And if you remember, Quentin Tarantino cited Trenchard Smith as one of his favorite filmmakers. So again, that can only mean we're in for one hell of a treat tonight, right?
That's right.
Right?
That's
right.
How did
Turkey Shoot?
Yeah, he directed Turkey Shoot.
I have to go back now and figure out to connect the dots of how he went from Turkey Shoot to Leprechaun 4.
Well, in between there was Leprechaun 3, apparently.
Yeah, he directed that one.
Oh, I can think about a couple of million dots to connect on how you got there.
No way,
Money.
in hell, no way in hell this guy's getting paid $1 million to direct Leprechaun in space.
I can think of tens of thousands of dots to connect to how
You
he
think
got
of tens
there.
of reasons.
10 grand. 10
You
grand.
directed Turkey Shoot. You think you're going to get another job in this town? It's Leprechaun 4 or nothing.
This will be my comeback. We'll give you 10 grand and a book of Arby's coupons. All right, I'll do it.
All right, keep the coupon.
But don't give me those coupons.
Yeah, keep the coupons.
Keep the coupons. All right, you boys ready for this?
Yeah.
We start things off, imagine this, in space. As a spaceship cruises its way through a meteor shower. I say a meteor shower. It's like two big CGI boulders just kind of floating around.
Oh, sweet 1990s.
Oh, really
CGI.
Well, we listened to the playful gothic musical score by Dennis Michael Tenney, and I really liked the score. I thought it was these Leprechaun scores. They hit the Irish notes. They hit the kind of comical nature of the films, but that's probably, judging by all y'all's faces, that's just me. Inside the space vessel, a group of space marines with names like Lucky, Mooch, and Sticks are loading their space guns and juggling their space grenades as they prepare to land on the planet Ithacon. Their commanding officer, Sergeant Hooker, aka Metalhead, barks some fairly simple orders at this crack squad of commandos, and he speaks as if he's a contestant on the Wheel of Fortune, which may or may not be due to the shiny metal plate that covers half of his skull. In a few minutes, we will board the shuttlecraft and proceed to target area Delta. Our mission is search and destroy. I repeat, search and destroy. I almost turned the movie off at this point.
I was digging him, man.
He's going to grow on me, but at this point, I almost was like, I'm not doing this.
Well, you know, as soon as he walks in and he's got his cigar and all, I was like, they're trying to recreate that scene from Aliens 2 when they come out of the cryo tubes. And I was like, it's nowhere near the same.
Oh, of course not. That was James Cameron and Bill Paxton and Sigourney Weaver.
I'm sorry, but that's still, I don't care what, I mean, because I was like, I knew what they were trying to do as soon as they do it. I was like, I know what they're doing. I hate it. You're ruining memories. The most beautiful scene ever.
I was having fun with it.
Metalhead goes on to say that they've been chasing this alien son of a bitch long enough. In fact, this alien has disrupted the galactic mining operation to the tune of $500 million. Tut, that's a lot of dollars.
Is it because you would think a galactic mining operation would be like
I don't know why
billions?
I don't know why I went to you with that. Let's move on.
Well, maybe they had some, they had, reset the inflation rate. So
I mean, a terrestrial mining operation.
How about this,
dollars,
Doctor? That's a lot of money, right?
Well, yeah, but think all the Mr. Clean that the Sergeant Hooker has to buy to clean that half of his head. I mean,
My God, that chrome dome is
stuff
shiny.
doesn't come from somewhere.
Yes, it does. Comes from Uncle Sam.
The word has come down from top brass to kill this alien bastard once and for all. A very cute female enters the room, biological officer Dr. Reeves, and she tells a disgusted metalhead that she has orders to accompany his team down to the planet and collect samples of any alien life forms they might find for her boss, Dr. Mittenhand. Bullshit! 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 This female of the species is supposed to join our search and destroy mission? No way! In case you couldn't tell by my reenactment, Metalhead isn't happy about this one bit, obviously. But I'm afraid they all have their orders, don't they, Doctor?
We've all got our orders. Metalhead wasn't happy about much.
It was not. Metalhead assigns Pretty Boy books. I think they've got that nickname. They caught him reading a book maybe once. To be Dr. Reeves' babysitter, and they're off. You've been watching a ton of sci-fi flicks and TV shows recently. What did you think of the CGI when the shuttlecraft exits the mothership and soars down to the planet Ithacon? That looked pretty cool, right?
It was brilliant in 1990s glory.
Tut,
terrible. Just
if these two shit all over that Willis movie, the Leprechaun 4 in space had no chance.
I still think it looked better than anything in Breach. Bruce Willis.
That's a good point, Doc.
Actually, Tuttle, you and the Doctor especially defended the hell out of Breach, and it's computer graphics that this was just. I can't. It's hard for me to.
It was low budget 1990s, so you're dealing with restrictive technology.
It looks bad.
So I mean,
I can't help but think even in '96 I would watch it and be like, oh God, really?
No, there was a time there to where there was like some graphic type stuff.
It is literally like one step above the Last Starfighter, and that came out like mid '80s.
But here's the thing. I'm so glad you mentioned The Last Starfighter, because I don't think we would have had that reaction if we were watching this in '96. Because I was going to mention The Last Starfighter and go, I love that movie. But when you watch The Last Starfighter now and you're looking at the out of space graphics with the Gunstar and the Frontier, you're like, okay, this looks like a video game I would have played in an arcade in a mall. But you didn't realize that at the time. Kate, I'm going to say I don't think at the time. Okay. Yes, now when you're looking at it, you're looking at it now and going, "Oh my God, this is fucking cheesy."
That's fair.
If you watched it back then, I don't think we have the comparison point.
That's fair. That's fair. Doctor, you want to tell everybody who directed The Last Starfighter?
One Nick Castle, right?
Nick Castle, college friend of John Carpenter, who would take on the Michael Myers mask. He was Michael Myers in the original Halloween. It's a little bit of trivia for you that pretty much everybody knows. Well, down on planet Ithacon, we discover a scantily clad princess, Princess Zarina to be exact, chained up in a cave. You see, boys, she's a prisoner of the Leprechaun. The little troublemaker is once again portrayed here by Warwick Davis of Willow and Star Wars fame. And the Leprechaun has prepared a very romantic dinner for the two of them by candlelight, no less. It's a nice little spread he's got there. Princess Zarina seems grateful to be free of her shackles as the two sip green champagne. That is until the Leprechaun announces that she will soon be his wife. Phantom Bride.
Oh, look at you.
American Pale Ale. The Leprechaun tells her that it's her royal blood running through her veins that will one day make him a king, finally. And that will finally bring him the respect in the universe he deserves. I feel that. I sometimes feel like I get a lack of respect around here. I think when I looked over there, Doctor did something a minute ago that I missed. No,
I didn't do like a fake clap or anything like that. Once you showed your Phantom Bride beer like this, thought it was sarcastic. I didn't do that at all.
Oh.
I didn't do it.
Oh, okay. Princess Zarina starts throwing dinner rolls at his wrinkly face, but she stops suddenly and has a total change of heart once the Leprechaun magically turns the dinner rolls into sparkling gemstones. If she marries him, he promises to make her the richest gal in the galaxy.
Well, I wish I had that power. That would have saved me some embarrassment on a few dates.
Really? Beef and cheddars at Arby's? Well, check this out. See the beef and
beef and cheddars at Arby's.
The curly fries turns into gemstones. Yax, will you be serving green champagne at midnight on St. Patty's Day at the pub? No. Is there such thing? Is there such thing as green champagne?
I'm sure there is, and I wouldn't want to drink it. It's just pure gasoline.
Probably so. Doctor, okay. I know you watched Leprechaun 3 just prior to viewing tonight's film. Was there anything in that movie that explains why the Leprechaun is now suddenly up in space and thrusted seemingly several hundreds of years into the future?
Absolutely not.
So part 3,
no tie-in.
Part 3 didn't end with him being strapped to a rocket ship and going into space.
There's no continuity there.
They just decided, fuck it, let's do this.
He just went from Las Vegas to outer space.
Haven't we all? I just thought because they did such a good job with Jason X of actually narratively explaining how Jason gets into space. I thought that I love that film. That's brilliant. Hellraiser, they figured out a way to get him into space. At one point, when producers were begging John Carpenter to come back to the Halloween franchise, he was like, yeah, I'll do it if you let me take Michael Myers into space. And I'm sure he would have cooked up some kind of interesting backstory to it. But no, this is happening now, right?
I like how everybody had this phase in the franchise industry of, I'll do it, but we're going to space.
Eventually, you got to...
We've made 9 movies. What are we going to do? Let's blast the fuck out outer space.
Can't we mix it up? Can't we go to the bottom of the ocean, like some, deep Leviathan ocean? No.
That's where they sent Chucky.
Did they?
There was a Chucky movie where he was under the sea. He was haunting a family of manatees. No, they never sent Chucky down under the sea or into space, but there's still time. Okay, I just wanted to check because I've never seen part 3. I was like, well, maybe this makes sense. Maybe they launched the little bastard up there. I don't know. Okay, so we're just doing this. He's up in space. Let's go with it. Okay. Once the Marines land down on planet Ithacon, the computer-generated backdrops don't get any better, sadly, with the pointy boulders and the purple lightning bolts crashing down everywhere. Dude, it looked like they filmed this shit in a laser tag arena, like at a kid's arcade.
They may have.
They did.
Oh my God, it looked terrible. Books asked Metalhead if he's ever seen a place like this before, and the commander says, or he's like, have you ever seen anything worse than this? And the commander says, I've been to Detroit. Dude,
Classic.
even up in future outer space, Detroit can't catch a break. Have any of you guys ever been to Detroit?
I have not.
I wonder if it's really as bad as movies have told us it is.
Send him to Detroit.
No.
There was also a reference in that movie Out of Sight with George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez. Clooney's on the phone with his bank robbing buddy Ving Rhames, and I guess Jennifer Lopez's character went to Detroit, and so she's tracking somebody down, and Clooney's like, they're on the phone, he's like, I wonder what the hell she went to Detroit for. And Ving Rhames is not missing a beat. He's on the other phone. He goes, well, she likes shitty weather. So it's just Detroit's just getting shit everywhere.
We should do a live show in Detroit and bring some sunshine to that city.
The Detroit Tigers have a rich and interesting history. Of course, I'm just really getting my baseball Jones on here as the season comes to a beginning. But
hey, Bill Lambier.
That's a reason to not like Detroit.
Yeah, actually, he was kind of okay. Moving on. A hand puppet covered in melted Play-Doh attacks one of the Marines, but he quickly blasts it to pieces. He then makes his way deep into the cave, where the Leprechaun and Princess were hanging out. Upon seeing the table covered with gold coins and jewels, the soldier starts filling up his helmet and pockets with the loot. That is until the Leprechaun appears behind him with a green lightsaber and chops his legs off. Or at least I think that's what happened, because we don't get to see the legs getting lopped off. There's no gore here. And he doesn't say any kind of cute little limerick like a leprechaun should when he cuts off the dude's legs. He just kind of swings the lightsaber and that's it. It's done. Lame.
That was disappointing.
It's a leprechaun with a lightsaber. Give it a break.
You can't make.
There's got to be something that goes with that. I don't know. I was disappointed.
Smile and say cheese. Now I'll be taking care of you from beneath the knees.
Thank you.
That was pretty lame.
Wow! Somebody got paid to write this script, and the doctor just did him one
improved it 20 years later
after drinking out of a fucking thing like this. Good job, Doc. The little guy takes the dead Marine's laser pistol, and a firefight ensues between him and the other commandos. All right, I will say this. This movie has a lot of gun battles between the Leprechaun and the Marines. And I do get a kick out of watching that little guy run around with that gun, because to him, a pistol's like a rifle. Like he puts the pistol, like the pistol under his arm. The Leprechaun jumps on a grenade to save his beloved princess and is promptly blown to bits. One of the Marines named Kowalski.
Oh, Kowalski.
The one who threw the grenade and blew up the Leprechaun. He starts pissing on the Leprechaun's remains in victory. I guess that's what you do when you kill somebody. You pee on them.
Death from above.
And a green mist arises from the Leprechaun's body parts and zooms right up into Kowalski's pecker.
He turned into green gonorrhea.
Pretty much. He yells out in pain, and his buddy Styx finds that amusing. I'd give you a round of applause, but I see you already got the clap. Styx is played Doctor. This guy deserves so much better than this movie. Who plays Styx?
Good old Miguel A. Nunez of Return of the Living Dead.
I thought I recognized him from somewhere. I didn't know that.
Friday the 13th.
Long career.
Friday the 13th Part 5 and Return of the Living Dead alone are
in the Hall of Fame.
Makes him a horror Hall of Famer. Man, this guy is just so good. And I actually early on felt really sorry for him that he was in this thing. That changes later on. We'll see where that goes. Well, they load up.
Man's got to get a check somewhere.
I understand that, but it's just like, man, I really like this guy, and like,
I got no problems with this effort. I got no problems with this movie so far.
Well, that tracks, because you and I usually disagree on everything.
I just think I'm having fun with it right now.
Okay. Well, the Marines load up the wounded princess. Her hand actually got blown off in the explosion. And they also load up all the Leprechaun's gold and head back to the mothership. Tut, sci-fi fan, did you wish they would have stayed on Ithacon longer so you could kind of explore that world?
No. Let's get on with it. Get on with it.
Yeah, I was with you on it. Hey, we agree on something.
There you go. Move that plot forward.
Do we agree on where the cigar is? I am still getting a medium spice with some cocoa forward retrohale and an oakiness and a pretty nice coffee element on the draw.
Man, I'm missing the cocoa on the retrohale, but I'm with you on the spice. I'm missing the coffee on the draw. I don't know whether it's oakiness or mine's kind of like, maybe I'm just misinterpreting it. I get more of a little light leather type of taste with it. But yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of there.
Yeah, because I haven't even talked to you. How are you liking it?
I am. I can agree with you. I am getting a stronger cocoa with that, and I mean, considering what my beer is, which really it's a barrel aged beer, but it is also a milk stout. But there's not really, I guess maybe from that barrel aging, there's not a lot of chocolate coming from the beer. But I am getting that from the cigar.
Are you getting on the are you getting on the retrohale or the draw of the cigar? Like me,
I'm getting it on the draw. It is really a lighter cocoa on the draw. On the retrohale, I'm getting just a little more peppery note. But like I said, my beer it is 16%, so there is a kick to it, but
more potent than a bottle of Cabernet, so it's kind of...
You might turn into a leprechaun before the show's over. Okay, and I'm sorry, on the draw, you were getting some cocoa. Were you with Tut with the leather or me with the oak and coffee?
I would probably go. I'm going to agree with Tut. I'm getting more of a leather on the cold draw. On the aroma, I was getting kind of a bready. It was almost biscuity for me. So it was like a very, that think of like a biscuit. I mean, that sort of dry bread.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Oh, not like a dog biscuit.
No.
Oh, okay.
Who was getting dog biscuit?
I was wondering how you
Did
knew.
You get dog biscuit?
I was wondering how you knew what that tasted like. Okay. Well, it sounds like we're kind of getting some of the same stuff, some different stuff. That's interesting. I had to actually relight, no fault of the cigar. It's actually performing really good. It's got a smooth.
Yeah, I'm having a great little experience with this thing.
It's by far the most copious smoke production I've ever had out of a Mackinudo. When I just lit up, I mean, it was just pouring out of this thing. So that was my fault for talking too much. But yeah, razor sharp burn lines. It's performing great. It's actually other than me ignoring it, it's kind of a slow smoke. Tut's done already.
I was about to say, I was like, man, I think I need to slow down a little bit.
Okay. And my beer, my American Pale Ale, is staying completely out of the way. The citrus notes aren't influencing it at all. Who knows what's going on with the Ag Boys beer? Tut, the Guinness always plays nice.
Yeah. There's not a you make a bad cigar if it doesn't pair with Guinness.
No, if you smoke a cigar that's bad with Guinness, it's just a bad cigar. Okay. As Dr. Reeves and her coworker Harold examine the princess's body back in the lab, Dr. Reeves notices that the princess's necklace is a royal piece from the kingdom of Dominia. Saving her could lead to better relations with the Dominions, she says, very enthusiastically. Did y'all recognize Harold?
No.
Yeah, boy.
Of course I recognized Harold. One Gary Grossman from this
Bachelor Party.
Bachelor Party.
Tom Hanks' little mustache buddy that picks up the hooker, like the little party animal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Him. He was the little guy.
And he went on to star in Leprechaun 4 in space.
He had the sweet joke in the beginning of Bachelor Party. He's on because he's a ticket sales guy, and he's on the phone. What do you mean, Boy George has to cancel? What do you mean he's got a yeast infection?
Oh man, I missed it.
Yeah. Doctor actually almost had to cancel for that same reason.
Yeah.
Didn't have a yeast infection.
No, he does not. Hey, party on, Yaks.
Now I gotta go. Now I have to go rewatch Bachelor Party for the 18,000th time.
I haven't seen it since like the 90s. Early 90s.
It hurts.
That's it. I'm changing my Zoom name to Rick the Dick. And I can now move on with the show. Okay. Harold is particularly jazzed about all the gold they brought back on board, but as he's examining it, Metalhead barks at him, "Hurry up, dickhead! Get this stuff secured so I can go get drunk."
You're kind of bleeding into your Trace Adkins. It doesn't quite get Adkins on us.
Hurry up,
dickhead!
Hurry up, dickhead!
Yeah, it doesn't quite go.
I would like to hear Trace Atkins call somebody dickhead. I bet that would be sexy as hell. Hurry up, dickhead. Hurry up, dickhead. Get this stuff secured so I could go get drunk. Is that better?
I mean, it wasn't that wooden. I liked the use of the term dickhead because I just hadn't heard anybody called that in a while. So when he's all, "Hurry up, dickhead,"
we need to start calling more dudes dickheads. It's a good thing to call dudes.
It's like, "Hurry up, dickhead."
Hurry up, dickhead.
I need to go get drunk.
The bad part is the only dudes I talk to are you three.
That sounds like something one of us would say, though. "Hurry up, dickhead. I need to go get drunk."
I mean, I can understand the motivation of Metalhead.
Hey, Tut. No sound. What's going on, dickhead? But then he's like,
busting my balls, dickhead.
See, now we're getting there.
What are you laughing at, dickhead? It really is a shitty thing to call somebody. I'm with Doctor. I haven't heard anybody call anybody a dickhead in a long time. It's a good thing to call somebody that you don't like, and I like you guys. Now,
Exeter Flexeter, I'll be replaced, and I don't know who'll stand in my stead, but the three of ye are drunken dickheads.
You calling him dickhead?
It's an example. I was just giving some Leprechaun stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I'll solve this problem.
Well, here's what. There's these huge pauses in the show, folks listening at home. If you're on YouTube, you understand. We're drinking out of these enormous vessels. How many ounces does this hold, Yax?
1 metric liter of beer.
36 ounces?
33.8 ounces.
I remember I chugged one of these one St. Patrick's Day. That was a hell of a show. You better agree with me, dickheads.
I don't like
no way, Dick Nose.
Oh, Dick Nose is good too.
Dick anything is kind of, well, let's see. Dick Nose, Dick Head, Dick Face, Dick Lips.
Dick Face is just mean.
A dickless.
Dickless. Dick Weed.
Well, dickless is kind of an ego thing. Like, you know, I got a bigger dick than you, but Dick Face is just, you're saying a guy's his face looks like a dick. That's kind of harsh.
I mean, is it any harsher than Dickhead?
Yeah, I think Dick Face is worse.
Dick Face, the face thing does kind of.
It is kind of like if a dude, like if I was like at a job and like a dude was like, "Hold on, I'm trying to figure this out, Dick Face." I'd probably go in the bathroom and be like, "What the fuck?"
I will say yes. Dick Face is very harsh. It's a slap. It's a slap to your dick face.
It is a slap right across your dick face.
This is a worthwhile debate. I'm glad we've gotten into this.
Hey, nobody else is having these debates. Mackinudo right now is trying to figure out how they can cancel that check.
Let's see. Did we really should have watched one of these shows before we talked to this guy?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss the Cigar Dojo episode where they debated the difference between being called a dickhead and dick face? If they already tackled this topic, we'll back off.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
I love it. Okay. Well, you see, here's why Metalhead is so antsy to get drunk and get Harold the Nerd to wrap up his shit. The Marines' contracts are due to expire at midnight. Their job here is done. At midnight, they can get in that escape shuttle and head home. But when Dr. Mittenhand tells Metalhead, he pops up on the computer monitor, that they're going to continue orbiting Ithacon until a mining operation can arrive and take over, and you will continue to provide security on the ship. The sergeant, he's not feeling it one bit until the Mad Doctor screams at him through the video monitor, "Nobody leaves the ship unless I so say. I say so." I love how he fucked up and then he corrects him. That was funny. That wasn't me fucking up because I'm drinking. That he actually.
I know. I watched the movie.
I'm telling our listeners are used to me saying shit backwards. So the guy himself actually said, "Until I so say," and then he paused. He was like, "I mean, until I say so." I thought that was the bald guy from Total Recall that tries to get stuff.
So did
yes.
I could have sworn it was the Recall guy, but it's not.
Yeah, the way that the camera angle was when you first see him on that monitor, I was like, "That's Total Recall."
Those eyes, it's those eyes kind of looking down.
But then when you see like a side profile later on, I was like, "Yeah, it's not him."
All in all, the mothership isn't such a bad place to be stuck on, though. If these Marines are going to be stranded here longer, they've got an entertainment room complete with music, a disco ball, pretzels, and a ton of booze. Kowalski, or KO as his fellow soldiers call him, the Marine who took a leak on the Leprechaun back on Ithacon, is grinding up against an amorous female soldier named Dolores on the dance floor, and it's not long before they decide to sneak off and get frisky elsewhere.
Recognize her, of course. Debbie Dunn from Tool Time on Home and on.
She was the Tool Time. She's the Tool Time chick from Home Improvement.
Yeah.
All right.
And apparently, in the future, hundreds of years from now, people name their girls like old-timey women Dolores.
Hey, what's old is new again?
Look at this beautiful child we brought into the world. Look at her shining, gorgeous, innocent face. What do you want to call her? Dolores.
I think you're being
kind of dick face.
Could have called her Dolly for short.
It's an old lady name. Nobody would ever name their new kid Dolores.
Beg to differ.
Do you know a young Dolores, or are all your Dolores old people like me?
I don't know anyone named Dolores, but I'm just saying you're maybe knocking on the name a little bit.
Fair is fair. Dick face. As the super sexy Dolores unbuckles KO's belt to get busy, he winces in pain and tells her, "Whoa, take it easy with Mr. Snake." But she's confused because she hasn't done anything to his penis yet. Kowalski then crumples to the floor in agony, and we see something trying to break through the crotch of his camouflage pants as the William Tell Overture starts to play, which I thought was a nice touch. Well, you guessed it. A few seconds later, the Leprechaun bursts out of KO's dick and flies across the room.
Dick face.
What's he say, Doctor?
Let this be a lesson to you, lad. Always wear a prophylactic. Which was weak, man. Come on, he could have done better than that.
That was very weak writing, man.
The Irish fairies have sang their song, and now look what happens to your dong.
Yes.
At this point, when I typed this up, a few seconds later, the Leprechaun bursts out of KO's dick and flies across the room. That's when I made the decision to cut Laurel loose after the cigar introduction. We need seasoned veterans of the podcast only at this point. Dolores picks up a gun, and as she approaches the Leprechaun, he pulls out a 6-shooter on her, and he starts talking in the John Wayne voice. "All right, well, hold it right there, Pilgrim." I know it sounds like my Trace Atkins voice. It's the only voice I do. "No, I'm not going to hurt you." Doctor, he does try to hurt her, though, doesn't he?
He does, and I could have done without his cowboy impersonation. It's not what we've come to know and love about the Leprechaun.
But when he says he's not going to hurt you, he is good. He's a little liar.
He's a duplicitous little guy.
He's quite duplicitous. I agree. Doctor, does he drop any cute little rhymes as he stalks Dolores through the ship?
I think all we get out of him is something. It's not quite a rhyme. It's more of a kind of a threat. I am eternal as the sun, 1,000 demons from hell. Depth and distraction are my game, and agony is my name.
Yeah, there's nothing funny or cute or rhyming about that. It's Yax, you're shaking your head and just.
It's terrible.
I noticed when Dolores was unbuckling KO's pants, your hat didn't go up a notch. You weren't.
Oh, this hat didn't know.
Tough crowd tonight.
You see the Kowalski's groin now.
There we go.
There we are.
A little bit.
One notch.
Now I'm making bad rhymes.
Well, the Leprechaun pounces on her, but she's able to knee him in his little wrinkled bag of coins, if you know what I mean. His nutsack. I'm referring to his little green nutsack.
Yes, we got it.
I did love, though, when she kneed him in the balls, it made that classic sound effect of a frying pan hitting somebody on the head. And the little guy's like, "Oh."
Would have been better if he went, "Oh, me bag of coins."
It kicked me in the Lucky Charms.
Dude, I don't remember.
No. We'll get sued.
I don't remember another film where we're this far into it. And like the first thing I'm like, oh, I actually like that about the film was a sound effect. That's telling.
Harsh.
Back in the entertainment room, Books and Dr. Reeves are getting to know each other a little better at the bar. So you're a doctor, huh? A biologist, actually, a doctor of biology. So that must mean you're pretty smart then, right? These two attractive bird brains were clearly meant for each other, but alas, they're from two different worlds. He's a terrible actor who would go on to star in the Bold and the Beautiful soap opera, while she is an awful actress who would later be cast in the Young and the Restless soap opera.
I take umbrage with your criticism of one Jessica Collins. That is a lovely woman who has been.
I didn't say she wasn't lovely. I said nothing about her loveliness. There's just too many differences there between these two, the Marine and the biological doctor. But we shall see if love can find a way. Sometimes it does.
You mean they translated Leprechaun 4 into working gigs on two very popular soap operas? Yeah, they're just god-awful.
Wish I had been able to do that.
It's terrible.
Sometimes love finds a way. Remember that Yes song? Love will find a way if you want it to.
Well,
Actually, I was a bit harsh. You're right, Tut. This C-level Italian stallion wannabe, he's not that terrible.
The Bold and the Beautiful. All I got offered was a cameo on the Meek and the Plain Looking.
And I'm kind of shaking my head at thinking that any kind of trained thespian would ever accepted this fucking role. So yeah, you know what? He's perfect.
Dude, he's a working actor. He's getting the job done. Good on you, man. As long as you don't turn around,
Bold and the Beautiful.
As long as you don't turn around, as long as you don't turn around and say, you know what, I can't believe, Leprechaun 4 nearly ruined my acting career. Taking all these shitty movies almost, forced me to quit acting. As long as he's not doing that, dude, take the role, get the money, have fun doing it. There you go.
And actually, on the Bold and Beautiful, he played the Bold.
Well, also, he could literally take his resume. Look, I can read some very stilted dialogue, so whatever you throw at me, I got it.
Hey, I'm sorry. We just wrote these pages this morning. Can you make some sense of this? I was in Leprechaun 4 in space. You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed at what I can do, dick face.
Dick face? I'm clearly a dickhead.
Actually, we'd be amazed at what you're willing to do, but that's another conversation. The female Marine, Dolores, runs back to her fellow soldiers in the entertainment room, and they all stop dancing. How long have they been up in space? These dudes are all dancing together on the dance floor?
They've been up a long time.
30 days.
You know what they say in space? You can't hear you scream.
Dude, I say that, like, the TNCC gets...
Well, Metalhead literally told it, like... We're only here for 30 days. Wait, you act like you've been here for like years. Like, we've been trekking into the darkness. We've stared into the void. How long you been here? 30 days.
We couldn't help but notice Cade and the doctor out on the dance floor grinding up against each other. My God, how many years have you guys been out here? 5 days.
They've seen some shit.
We left Earth this morning.
They showed up at 10 a.m. That was 2 hours ago. I'll rub my ass on the doctor. Jesus, these guys had just... Okay. Well, hey, Dolores runs in wanting help, and they mount up for combat. For some reason, Dr. Reeves believes that the leprechaun is hiding in the organic waste unit that's filled with flesh-eating bacteria. So Sergeant Metalhead recruits the dingus Mooch to head in there. Mooch, you're up. Our hero, Books, is a good Marine, so he offers to suit up in an enormously oversized hazmat suit and partner up with his buddy Mooch. Dude, they look like, when those people put on those inflatable sumo wrestler suits? These are the craziest looking hazmat suits ever. The set, though, I should say, filled with toxic green gas coming up from the floor vents, sadly looks better than anything on set we saw in this year's Bruce Willis sci-fi flick Breach. And I don't know if that's me finally giving this movie a compliment or me taking yet another shit on Breach.
I'm gonna go with the shit on Breach.
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying that you're
this movie has better set design than Breach. I said
it is literally 20 years apart.
And probably a budget-wise 20 times difference. That's Trenchard Smith. He doesn't settle for bullshit.
Man, vicious. Just vicious.
Well, the Leprechaun wearing a tiny hazmat suit himself. Why did they have that little hazmat suit in there?
He's a leprechaun, man. He can snap his fingers. Boom. There you
do
go.
anything.
But why does the leprechaun need it? Apparently he can survive a grenade blast.
Well, yeah, but then he gets turned into mist. He has to go up somebody else's penis.
But that's where I'm confused about the Leprechaun, because Jason has rules. Michael Myers has rules. If the Leprechaun can snap his fingers and get a tiny little midget hazmat suit show up, couldn't he just snap his fingers and kill everybody and be back where can he just do anything?
No, I think there is some sort of power type thing. I think like in normal Leprechaun lore, I think like there's like a limit to their power. Like they have to come into their full power.
I'm not sure that this movie takes in Leprechaun lore in any.
I'm pretty sure you're correct, Doc.
The Leprechaun in that little tiny hazmat suit, he is in fact waiting in there for them. He slices open Mooch's protective suit with a knife, causing Mooch to instantly erode into a blood-soaked skeleton. And the Leprechaun looks at books and tells him if they return the princess to him, he will spare all their miserable lives. Well, he's not wrong about that. They do all seem miserable.
Exeter Flexeter. I'm not the stoutest and I'm not the leanest, but I did just shoot at a Kowalski's penis.
Again, thank you, Doctor, for walking off.
I'm here.
A guy got paid to write the script, and he didn't come up with any of these little limericks. This scene called for a limerick. God damn it.
Every scene he's in calls for a limerick.
Yeah, and we got none, Tut. We got 0 fucking limericks in this movie. I'm about halfway through the cigar. You guys getting anything different?
No, not really. There is a breadiness though on the aftertaste of the palate, the mouthfeel, I guess. But taste wise, yeah, no, it's that nice, pleasant spice. Not too heavy, not too powerful, but just there to where that full flavor profile of the spices on the Retro Hell. The draw is just that straight up standard wood leather that's really, really nice. But it's not, I guess that I've been kind of, so Nicaraguan focused over the last year or so. It's not that strong, Nicaraguan type of wood profile.
No, it's not. Yeah, and I'm still getting that, dark chocolate, pepper on the draw. I know I'm the only one getting the dark chocolate with the pepper on the draw, but I am getting some of your leather and breadiness there with that coffee note that I was getting on the draw disappeared after the first third.
Yeah.
Now in the midpoint, I'm getting your leather. I'm getting your kind of toasted breadiness.
Yeah.
In the middle. Again, I'm only having to relight because I'm talking so goddamn much. This is a really interesting little cigar. I'm digging it.
I'm surprised that I'm not getting. I'm not saying I'm not getting. Maybe it's just blended away. The Indonesian part. I thought that it would be a little bit more forward in the profile.
You know what though? If you listen to Laurel, she said it wouldn't. They picked Indonesian to stay out of the.
Out of the way.
Out of the fucking way of the blend.
I was trying things over here.
You hit mute on the head. Your headphones came unplugged during the thing.
No. I was trying things.
Yeah, no. I mean, from what I got, yeah, they really wanted to showcase that Brazilian wrapper by picking some more subdued binders and fillers, and especially with the Indonesian binder and the Colombian filler. And I get that, but I'm just, man, I just have never gotten that dark chocolate through the nose, and it's just working really well with that oak and the toasted bread and the leather on the draw. It's a lot of flavors going on there, at least from my end.
Yeah, it's a mighty fine little cigar. I like it.
Me
the
too.
experience has been very, very pleasant.
And Doctor, if you could write a limerick about Tut's mouthfeel and work that in later, that would be great.
Get my pen real quick.
The Marines all march into the laboratory where they demand that Harold pull up Dr. Mittenhand on the computer monitor. Mittenhand tells them they are to kill the leprechaun because there's no way. And Mittenhand talks in a very Gestapo Nazi kind of.
Very Gestapo. I immediately thought of Doc's impersonations that he does. Doc does a good Gestapo voice.
999.
Compliments, Tuttle, have not gone unnoticed.
Yes.
This will be remembered at the end of the show when I am handing out the merits.
I just want Doc to say now's the time on the podcast where we dance.
Welcome to the podcast. My name is Dieter. Now is the time when we dance.
Thank you.
First of all, dancing together is what got kicked out of that Kentucky Holiday Inn on karaoke night.
You don't ever mention that Kentucky karaoke night.
You just cannot keep your fucking dick in your pants, you sick bastard.
Hey, that was the red Solo cup of whatever that was, Jameson.
That was 5 shots of Jameson for $2.50.
Took 9 hours to get your smile off of Yak Boy's face. Let me know if there's any change in his condition.
Is it bad whenever I think of a Nazi that voice? I think of Die Hard when that guy was like drilling into the thing. 9999. He was good. He did a good voice.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Are you saying that my Nazi voice is unsatisfactory?
No. Very satisfactory. Well, Mittenhand says, you guys are going to kill that goddamn leprechaun because there's no way I'm handing over the princess. She's too valuable. I'm not giving up any more, my men, so you can fart around with your test tubes and your formulas. The cigar-chomping metalhead screams at the doctor. Well, nobody, as Harold says, defies Dr. Mittenhand. As the Marines head for their shuttle to escape all this craziness, a huge door in the lab slides open and out rolls Dr. Mittenhand in the flesh. Before now, we've only seen his face on a computer screen. Much like Metalhead, but far more so, the doctor's entire body is made up of mechanical steel parts, computer chips, tubes, and fluids. Hold on a second. Doctor, stand up. All we ever see is your head and shoulders. What do you got going on down there?
I will not take commands from you. There's nothing wrong with me below the waist as far as you are concerned.
Dr. Mittenhand's only remaining body parts are his bare shoulders, and bare, like he's not wearing a shirt, and his large head resting on top of them. When Dr. Reeves looks like she might vomit at the sight of her mentor, she thought he was a normal dude. And here he rolls in on this little wheelchair and he's half robot. Dr. Mittenhand assures her he's still the seductive genius and powerful man he was before. He's just like the Wizard of Oz in that he runs everything behind a curtain. But this wizard, he says, isn't fake. Yax, did you find him seductive at all here?
No. What a dick face.
Are you still on that 15% beer?
Yes, I am. I said I'm sipping on it. I literally have like 4 beers in a glass.
It's almost done.
It's almost done.
Well, French composer Philippe Leroux once said that every great, memorable piece of music needs that one moment of madness. And I think it's clear here that the full reveal of the fully shaven, robotic Dr. Mittenhand is indeed a moment of madness. But as to whether it's enough to make Leprechaun 4 in Space great or even memorable, with less than an hour of running time left in the movie, Doctor, I think this is where your tagline comes in.
Uh-oh.
I'm afraid it's far too early to tell.
Oh, well, Kate, I'm afraid it's far too early to tell. Sorry, I was still lost in my Germanic
I thought you'd say that, Doctor.
Sorry. Exeter Flexeter. Once upon a time, the doctor's timing had class, but his brain turned to mush, and now he doesn't know timing from BS.
Metalhead and Metal Body negotiate the terms of the Marines staying on board and hunting down Leprechaun. They go back and forth on the terms of their business deal. How much will their bonus be? What percentage of the mineral rights they discovered on Ithacon the soldiers will share with the doctor? It's actually a little funny exchange. Like, all right, 100% bonus, 4% mineral rights, whatever we got on Ithacon. I will give you 3.5% mineral rights. They go back and forth.
2.5%, 2 points per month we're on duty.
It's funny. It's a funny little exchange. And when they finally have made a deal, Metalhead points his finger at the wheelchair-bound cyborg, Dr. Midhand, and he warns him, if I lose any more of my men, your ass is grass. And then he looks down at the metal body. If you even have an ass. Best line in the movie.
I like this drill sergeant. I like him. Well, not the drill sergeant, but just the sergeant. I like him.
He's growing on me. He's growing on me rapidly. While Harold and the doctor experiment with the princess's blood in an attempt to regenerate Mittenhand's body and return him to his old dashing self, her severed hand actually grew back. So there's hope there that it could lead to something. And the Marines are tracking down the Leprechaun. We join the little alien, quote fingers, as he's referred to. They apparently don't know what a leprechaun is. He's clearly a leprechaun. Like, what alien is this? Sarge, we've spotted the alien creature, sir. He's wearing little black boots with buckles, striped socks, a green blazer, and speaking in an Irish accent.
And a green top hat.
And kill that monster.
And a green top hat. What kind of alien is this? It's a fucking leprechaun, you asshole. Never ate a goddamn box of Lucky Charms?
They never refer to him as that once in the entire movie. The monster, the bastard, the alien.
The twerp. I'll get to that later. I love that line. Okay. I just like, what alien planet is just overrun by dudes looking like Cody with that hat on?
But you told me to wear the hat.
I'm sorry. An alien planet filled with dudes wearing green blazers. Those aren't aliens. Aliens don't wear blazers.
Welcome to Mars. One of these days, I'm going to kick Cade in the arse.
Somebody's kicking me in the nard soon. The tiny evil munchkin is having second thoughts about marrying the princess and sharing his precious gold coins with her. You see, boys, sharing is a concept that's completely foreign to leprechauns. So he decides, not in rhyme, I should mention, that he'll wed her, bed her, and bury her all in the same day. I wonder if her father will pay for the wedding and the funeral.
You could have made a rhyme there that would have worked.
You know what? Now that we're doing this, I'm having flashbacks to that fucking other Leprechaun movie, and I think my biggest bitch about that was no fucking limericks.
It was. Now that I remember it, it was.
I didn't get that till now. I'm like, he didn't rhyme shit in that either.
Part of his charm. I couldn't have gone in for script treatment.
But am I so drunk and have I drunk myself into such an alternate reality? Did he not rhyme limericks in the first couple movies?
Yeah.
Maybe
in part 2, he goes into a bar and he sits there to drink with people. And here he is, the little leprechaun at the bar, and they hand him a glass of whiskey and they're like, he can't handle it. He's all, drink with me, drink if you're able, but drink with me and you'll be under the table.
Yeah, he used to say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't blame Warwick Davis, obviously. I blame the dick face who wrote this thing.
Old Davis is just there to get his check.
Hey, no, he's giving it his all.
No, I mean that's what I mean. He gives it his all, but like, yeah, you can't blame him for taking the role.
No, he's not going back
to Harry Potter money.
He's not going back to his trailer and writing his own lines. I mean, he's not going to give a shit that much.
Actually, he needs to be a little bit more dickish and write his own lines. Be like, I'm Warwick Davis, motherfucker. I am the face of this franchise. Here's what I'm going to say.
I'm sorry, were you a fucking Ewok? Because I was a fucking Ewok.
See, I think
I was the Ewok.
I was the Ewok, ass face.
You go to Disney Plus? Is that your face up there on there? No, that's mine, Willow.
But see, he's not a dick face. So
on the Star Wars Christmas special, was that your? No, that was me. That's right, that was me.
So I'm going to say this limerick, and you're going to direct this thing, and shut up.
I by all accounts here, he's a wonderfully nice person. I don't think that was his forte.
I hear that too.
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told that little asshole in the R2-D2 suit. Play ball, or I'm coming for your ass.
Are you saying that's what Warwick Davis said?
No, that's what I would have said if I was. Yeah, that's what
you'd called him a little asshole.
The guy in the R2-D2 suit?
Again, I've heard by all accounts
Kenny Baker
is a wonderfully nice person.
What do you have against Kenny Baker?
Nothing. Am I in some kind of trouble here?
You need a lawyer.
Are you talking to my lawyer? Am I being canceled?
I think you are in some kind of trouble.
Oh, shit. While budding lovebirds, Books, and Dr. Reeves bicker back and forth in the engine room, Dolores and Sergeant Metalhead scour the other side of the ship for the Leprechaun, and this glorious exchange of dialogue takes place. Hey, Sarge. Yeah? You don't think Kowalski's getting killed was my fault, do you? What do you mean? Well, I'm the one that gave him the boner and all. Forget about it. Kowalski would have wanted it that way. He was a Marine. Come to think of it, when it's my time to go, I hope I'm standing tall just like he was, the sergeant says with a big shitty grin on his face. This gets horny Dolores' attention. I feel weird saying horny Dolores because it's a fucking old lady name. Oh, really? She purrs, which freaks Metalhead out. He kind of has this moment where he's like, don't do this. And he runs off.
I love how you've gone from Trace Atkins to James Gammon of Major League. Come on, Dolores, don't give me that Olay bullshit. Every time you don't shoot the Leprechaun, you owe me 20 sit-ups.
That's what I was just thinking.
You may have given him the boner.
Don't stand up and aim your rifle. He's 3 feet tall. Every time you aim high, you owe me 20 push-ups.
Doctor, do you think it's possible for Metalhead to get a boner with that much damage having been done to his cerebellum?
Kate, as far as medical queries go, that is a brain teaser, but my God. I'm thinking that if his brain is metal and your brain sends messages down through your loins, I just can't even imagine how it's even possible. Unless he is James Gammon, and then anything's possible.
Your answer's probably it's
better teach his leprechaun some control before he kills somebody. Sorry. Love you, James. Rest in peace, brother.
Oh, is he dead?
Yes.
As if that's shocking. Okay. The leprechaun finds Books and Dr. Reeves, and he threatens to barbecue your buns to a crisp. But the attractive couple and their firm buns manage to escape just in time. Man, at this point, guys, all the action here is lame. The leprechaun's non-rhyming taunts are super lame. And with the exception of Dr. Mittenhand and Metalhead, this whole fucking thing is lame. Am I right?
Nah, it's all right.
Tut likes it. Yaks, are you with me? This shit's lame.
It felt like filler.
Yeah,
they could have shaved off 15 minutes of this film.
Totally give you that. I guess I just knew what I was getting into from the outset, and it didn't disappoint from what I thought it would be.
Yeah,
in the words of the great philosopher, they are who we thought they are.
Yeah, but the thing is, Tut, I went into this.
You got it.
Okay.
You're right,
I went into that with the same philosophy, like, all right, it's Leprechaun 4 in space. Let's just do this. I'm going to have fun with it. Something about it just bugged me up until a certain point.
It was the limericks.
If you had watched Leprechaun 3 48 hours earlier like I did, I think you would have been more prepared. But I like Tut's Dennis Green analogy. Leprechaun 4 is who we thought they were. You want to crown their ass? Crown them.
May he rest in peace.
Dude, just there. I want to be up there with him and James Gammon at a bar table.
And Jim Mora. Leprechaun 4?
Leprechaun 4? Come on. Leprechaun 4. Oscars?
We're talking about Leprechaun 4.
We're talking about winning an Oscar?
In space? In space?
Lucky if we're on the Sci-Fi Channel in 20 years. Oscars?
In space. So the Leprechaun kills one of the Marines named Danny by dropping a big crate on top of him while singing "Oh Danny Boy." There's zero blood and no rhymes or limericks delivered.
Hey, but it was singing Danny Boy.
Then the Leprechaun pushes Dolores off a high railing, killing her with zero blood and no limericks delivered.
Don't you think, Kay, that this is clearly, because you pointed out those two kills and the way that they're done, 96, I'm trying to think of when Sci-Fi Channel came around, because it seems like this was a direct-to-video movie, and so is Leprechaun 3, and even though both show cleavage and have some gore and some foul language, it almost seems like they're shot in such a way that we're going to have the R-rated direct-to-video cut,
and then we can edit it.
Going into it, right from the beginning, Tut, we're going into this as we're going to make it very easy to pare this down for a TV version.
I think that's a very good point.
Yeah, it's a good call because Sci-Fi was coming on. It reached its peak
early 2000s.
And yeah, other than the language, all they would have had to cut out of this for Sci-Fi was the one shot, which we'll get to later, of there's some brief nudity.
And that was almost like a. Well, I'll wait till we get there.
But that does strategically, from a Lionsgate, from a home distributor standpoint, you give folks a reason to rent it, as opposed to watch it on cable, because you are going to get some boobs, you are going to get some language, you are going to get something that you're not getting for free on cable.
But we're planning for that secondary market.
It was the perfect recipe, which a lot of these straight-to-video sequels did really well. It's like, man, we can just bleep out the cuss words. We can have one or two nudity shots that we'll put in for the VHS release, later on the DVD release. It was smart marketing, and I think this might have been around the beginning of it. I think you're right, Doc. Well, then the Leprechaun makes himself appear outside the lab. Harold and the doctor, Mittenhand, are locked in there. But he shows up on the security monitor, and he appears as naked Dr. Reeves in Jeopardy. She's naked, so she says that everyone's attacking her. She needs help. So an excited Harold deactivates the security system and lets the Leprechaun in. We see no boobs here, no buns, but I should mention we finally get a fucking cool kill scene here. When the Leprechaun gets in the lab, he throws a stainless steel platter at Harold's head, and it flattens the nerd's face against the wall like a giant flesh pancake. Impressive special makeup prosthetic effects here. It looked really good. And they even brilliantly reused the frying pan sound effect when it hits him in the face.
I liked it because I thought for sure that they were doing a decapitation deal where the sauce would come decapitate. I was like, I've seen this before.
This film's been so lazy up to this point. That's what you expect.
Yeah, and then when it shows that dude with and then cool, you see the eyes blink a couple of times, which I thought was a great little.
Oh, dude, I love Pan Face. It was
the only thing missing, boys. It could have been better if Short Stuff dropped a little limerick or even a clever pun. I'd settle for a bad pun at this point. Anybody order a plate of Flatjacks? Come on, that would work. Flatjacks.
Yeah, I got that.
If he said it, it would be better. You're listening to me say it.
Sorry, Harold, it's time to die, but now your head will be the size of a pizza pie.
Yes. Again, doctor, somebody got paid to write the script, and you're top of your head, you're improving it.
Thinking juice.
Learning juice.
Screenwriting juice. By the time the Marines and Dr. Reeves get to the lab, the Leprechaun and his princess bride, who's now going by the name Zarina, Queen of the Damned, have already injected Dr. Mittenhand with a combination of alien DNA, tarantulas, and scorpions that the little bastard whipped together in a little food blender there in the lab. Don't ask. Zarina shows the Marines her boobs. Hey, now we get to see some boobs.
Oh my goodness! This was just like a checkbox. I mean, it was like not contextual. There was nothing around it. I was just like.
But Dr. Reeves informs them because they're all excited by, hey, she flashed her boobs. It turns out that on her planet Dominia, when royalty flashes their boobs at you, it's a death sentence. So that sucks.
No, Tut's totally right. And again, I think that I knew what I was getting into, but having watched Leprechaun 3 a few days later, hell, they do the exact same thing. There is a gratuitous topless shot that would have been, again, very easy to edit out, and it's a very quick scene. You definitely get an eyeful, but would have been easy to edit out. Serves no purpose at all in the movie. It's like, okay, we're a direct-to-video R-rated movie. We need a pair of boobs, and so here we go.
Well, that depends, says Sticks. What part of her anatomy is she going to kill me with? Man, I love me some Miguel Nunez Jr.
He is pretty damn good.
And Yak Boy, I can't help but see, we got to see her boobs, and your hat didn't go up a notch.
Well, I haven't reached that next level just yet.
Well, this is where it's okay. You're in charge of the hat. I'm not going to tell you how to.
There you go.
Cade really loves that hat.
Yax, have you moved on to your second beer yet, or are you still nursing that first one?
Oh, I'm still nursing it.
Okay. All right.
I'm down to the last couple of sips.
Okay.
He's got a 6-pack of that shit. He's totally fucked up.
No, I actually saw him at the Speedy Mart today. He only bought one of those things.
He went back after you left.
I will say this: the Phantom Bride American Pale Ale, good beer pairing cigar, or good cigar pairing beer. It stayed out of the way of the cigar. Well, the aroma was super citrus heavy. It's a malt forward, hops subdued American Pale Ale, which makes it great for drinking with cigars. So it's a really good pairing beer. I'm sure Guinness is treating you great. I'm not going to go to you, Tut. Yaks, that crazy beer you had. We're getting woodsiness and some oak out of the cigar. That could have been confusing for you if you're getting that out of the oak barrel aging of your beer, but I'm guessing at this point you don't know what the fuck's going on because you're so drunk.
Well, I mean, like I said, the beer didn't have the normal, I mean, like I said, a lot of times barrel aged series, all you're tasting is that barrel, whatever it was. If it was a bourbon barrel, this was Irish whiskey barrel, and it is strong. I'm not going to shit you about that. It will kick you in the teeth. I mean, I got 4 beers in one glass. I can definitely feel it, but it's, like I said, it's that imperial milk stout. It's very sweet. I'm getting a lot of the same profile as I would from a normal milk stout. It's higher alcohol content, but it's not like I'm drinking pure alcohol.
Okay.
I'm getting flavors from that.
Yeah, I was wondering how that would treat you, being that high of content, whether it would get medicinal or not.
I've noticed over the years, I don't care for things if they're marketed as aged in bourbon or whiskey barrels. I tend to not like those things. For Christmas, I got a gift, 2 gifts. One, it worked out beautifully. One, not so much. I got a gift from the Pappy Van Winkle company. I got a bag of their coffee beans, which are aged in Pappy Van Winkle barrels. And sure enough, that distinct, it's almost an acidity that you get from things aged in the wooden barrels. It overpowers the coffee, and I don't care for it.
Yeah.
But I also got a thing of chocolate Pappy Van Winkle bourbon balls. These chocolate, these 4 little chocolate covered bourbon balls. Fucking amazing. I mean, I don't know what they cost, but there's 4 of them in this really cool little case, and I ate them in the span of like 10 seconds. They were so fucking good. So, but yeah, everything I've had coffee wise that's aged in our friend Rev sent me some whiskey barrel aged coffee. Man, it just doesn't really, and most cigars, that's been a big thing over the last couple of years. These cigars that are aged in that doesn't do a lot for me.
Yeah, I'm with you there on that. The barrel aged stuff just doesn't. I always like trying it out, but I've never been impressed with them.
The best case scenario is if it's a cigar or a coffee, it just tastes normal, and you don't get that that kind of barrel aged thing. It can backfire on you. But man, those chocolate balls from Pappy Van Winkle are fucking awesome. Seek those out. Pappyco.com. Free ad. There you go. Free commercial.
Real quick, Cade.
Yeah.
I think that given what Laurel said about the cigar, and I'm obviously not smoking it this evening, given what she said about it, I think the beer I'm having might have been a really awesome pairing with it.
Go on.
This is not high in alcohol content. It's 5.9. And it does have kind of a not overbear. I'm not much for any fruitiness in my beers. It's an IPA. It's called a juicy IPA, but it's got a little, she mentioned like tropical. There is a bit of a not overwhelming. I could see that. I would recommend, if you guys are enjoying the cigar, give it another try with the old Space Camper Cosmic IPA. I could see just from what she said, this might be a good pairing with it. On its own, I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
Yeah, she actually mentioned what was the barley beer or not the ginger beer, which I'm not a big fan of. But
if you like Moscow mules, then yes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I make Moscow mules. I drink a lot of ginger beer because of that. I mean, but it's one of those, and I think maybe that's why this beer that I've got, because of that sweetness as a milk stout, is really pairing well with this. So just because, I mean, ginger beer is sweeter. I mean, it's alcoholic ginger ale, basically.
Well, I've switched over to the Cody Yak Boy. I've switched over to my second beer because it is a little bit sweeter. It's a little bit more citrus forward than my previous one. I am drinking now the
Kung Fu Robot.
We do have a robot in tonight's film.
Yes, we do.
Well,
technically a cyborg.
But there's actually another tie-in. We actually drank the Kung Fu Robot with the Inspirado Red Mackinudo way back when on episode 72, I think. So I saw it in the store and I went back to it because I remembered it was low on bitterness. We actually kind of had a hard time wrapping our heads around it, but we liked it a lot. And I think maybe it's more bitter on the front end than the Phantom Bride, but then you get a lot more citrusy kind of notes on the back end. I think that might actually benefit the cigar a little bit. But yeah, I think we all agree. We wish we had talked to Laurel earlier and we had a bunch of Moscow mules in front of us. What is a Moscow mule?
Moscow Mule is typically made with vodka and ginger beer with lime juice and usually slices of lime added.
That sounds good.
They're very good. Typically, they're also made in a actual copper mug so that the soda with the ginger beer reacts with the copper and adds a little bit. That metallic taste gives it something, just a little bit. I mean, it's not like you taste metal, but that the citrus reacts with the copper and makes a little bit different flavor. A lot of places will use a copper coated or copper looking mug, but it doesn't give it the same flavor as an actual copper mug.
Do you guys use actual copper mugs at O'Brien's Irish Pub in downtown historic?
We do not,
because people steal.
A lot of people steal.
That was the opportunity to say yes, we do.
No, people steal them.
No, people steal them. A lot of places, if you want to drink a Moscow Mule, and they've got the actual
copper wiring, like the thugs go in construction sites and steal copper wiring.
No, a pure copper mug. A lot of places, if you want to drink it, they'll ask for an ID or a deposit on the mug.
So, dude,
Jesus Christ!
A couple dudes walk into the pub and order some Moscow Mules. You turn your back and they disappear with your mugs.
And it's not just a couple of dudes. It's like, everyday people.
It's a syndicate?
Yeah. No, it's not a syndicate. It's everyday people just not having the common decency to not steal a fucking mug.
Oh, you're saying like a husband and wife come in there and the wife's like, this is a cute little mug. I'm taking it home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would do that?
A lot of people, apparently.
Look at the
Dick
world
faces.
we live in. People steal salt shakers, for Christ's sake.
They are dick faces, Yaks. You're right.
What a couple of dickheads.
Do we want to like do this thing?
I'll never understand stealing drinkware from a establishment. That's crazy. Okay. Tut, you bring up a good point. You're there towards the end. We've had, for me, a steady, really nice pepper spice on the nose with some dark chocolate. You guys didn't get that. On the draw, we've all experienced some oak. I got a little bit of coffee in the first third. Then we all started getting leather and breadiness. Tut, you never could kind of pinpoint that mysterious element that you...
No, never could. It would just flash every now and then.
But even that you can't pinpoint it is still it's still noteworthy that you got something that got your synapses.
She said this wasn't like the peppery Matafina. What which Brazilian rapper was this?
All right. Fuck, I thought I was going to get through this whole show without trying to say this word. She said it like 3 times, and I tried to like really pay attention. I've never heard anybody say it.
Arroyo?
A rapper Araca?
A rapper rocka?
Arapiraca.
Arapica. Arapaca?
Arapiraca.
Close enough. I've heard it both ways.
With Indonesian binder, Colombian and Dominican fillers. So yes, Tut. Did I kind of sum it up fairly well? But
yeah, I think she was right on point that it's a medium straight away. To me, it's actually, leaning a little bit on the full side. It's flirting with full. But medium's here, right there.
Especially towards the end, that strength has just nicotine strength in that last third has picked up quite a bit, and mixed with that leather and that bold retro hail. I mean, yeah, I would go full in the final third for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been smoking on it for quite a while. It is a Toro. It is a Mackinudo, and as Laurel said, they try to keep everything in a copacetic price point because that is what Mackinudo is known. Mackinudo is known for. Known for, as they say at Mackinudo headquarters. Tut, price point.
Man, I'm gonna take a risk here, and I'm going $9.50.
We smoked less complex cigars and quicker smoking cigars for far more.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
$9.50.
$9.50. That's where I'm going.
Yak Boy.
Tough one. Because I agree with Tut. I'm right in that wheelhouse. I'm right there in that area. I'm going to say 9.
$9.50 and 9. Doctor, you didn't smoke the cigar, but I'm going to give you a guess.
Well,
you've smoked Mackinudos before, and you listened to Laurel closely on the show tonight. What do you think?
Very competitively priced, though. That's been one of their things, but
General's a big enough company where they can actually get you some really cool tobaccos and a slow smoking cigar like this and keep the price down.
I really want to agree with both guys, but I'll do the thing that all the dickheads on The Price is Right do and undercut them. I'll go $8.75.
Okay. Well, I'm going to undercut you, Doc. I'm going to go $7.39.
Whoa.
I'm wondering, did he have some sort of information beforehand?
Hold on.
Is it possible that he had some information beforehand?
Hold on. Let me look at my notes here. Oh, God. The price is $7.39.
Man, that's a winning price right there.
That's a damn
good really price. Is.
That is. This has been going on for about an hour and 50 minutes.
Great construction. I've only had to relight because of me yapping my jaws so much. Really smooth burn line. The fact that the three of us got some of the same flavors, but with a few different things. And I've still got another 30 minutes probably on this little guy. Dude, $7, man. $7.39.
That's awesome.
I think this will definitely it should compete with the boutique brands. It should be competing with the craft brands.
I definitely enjoyed this more than the Inspirado Red, which we did enjoy. Tut said it was like putting Indiana Jones in your mouth.
Did it? Did I say it?
Actually, that was me. I just didn't want to embarrass myself in front of Laurel.
Okay.
I threw you in front of the Nazi train. But no, dude, this might be my favorite Mackinudo smoke.
Where are you going to get a cigar that last that long, that has the complexity that you guys talked about, that was that enjoyable and was less than $8. Come on, that's value.
It is. And please remember, folks at home, when purchasing some fine Mackinudo cigars, Inspirado Green or otherwise, from FamousSmokeShop.com, use your new favorite promo code TNCC20 at checkout. It'll knock $20 off your purchase of $100 or more. You can buy a box of these bad boys, which are already relatively cheap. $20 off.
That's mighty fine. Mighty fine.
And I do appreciate that from I realize General Cigar Company and Mackinudo have a lot of money. And as she said, we can play with a lot of rare tobaccos and bring them in at a lower price point because we are General Cigar Company. We've got a lot of money. It's a good cigar.
Yeah, it is.
It's got some nice complexity. It's got some nice, like I said, the three of us have experienced kind of different things throughout it, but it's, yeah. And I'm not a Mackinudo, unlike Yak Boy, I'm not a Mackinudo cafe smoker. That guy smoked probably, 10,000 of Mackinudos in college, right, Yaks?
Oh yes, that was my go-to. Well, and a majority of the brands that we think of today didn't exist.
Yeah, that's true.
Just simple. I had Mackinudo. I had Fuente. I had Punch.
But you are the guy that would walk in and grab a tin of Mackinudo cafes, and you knew what you were getting, and they would always taste exactly like what you were expecting.
Yes.
And she said they were trying to do something else, and I think much more so than the Inspirado Red, which was a leather heavy, earthy cigar. This one's got a lot more going for it. Yeah, I like the cigar.
I do too. Thumbs up.
So the boys and Dr. Reeves head back to the entertainment room, guns first. And it's there that they find their beloved Sergeant Metalhead dressed up in drag up on stage, putting on a sexy burlesque show in a gold mini dress. You see the Leprechaun has brainwashed Metalhead to do his bidding at this point in the film. And Doctor, correct me if I'm wrong, you texted me that you had a big chunk of metal in your pants watching this scene.
That is entirely untrue. I did not text you that, nor did I have any metal in my pants. In fact, it was at that point in the viewing that I was glad I was inebriated, because I was okay with everything up till this point. Now this movie really has gone off the rails.
It's off the
rails.
Bad
special effects, everything else, the green pea, Leprechaun bursting through the penis, all that I can handle. But when Metalhead is up there in drag,
shaking his moneymaker,
shaking what his mama gave him,
going for it.
It's this is where you're looking at the running time and going, thank Christ, this is going to be over with soon.
Well, Books dances a little bit with Sarge, trying to snap him out of it. But that only gets him knocked out by some nunchucks, which Metalhead had in his shiny little gold purse for some reason.
Got to accessorize.
This is the point of the movie where I start using that phrase for some reason a lot. Sticks can't get through to Sarge. Sarge, it's us, Marines. But he's a drag queen now. Am I allowed to say that, drag queen?
Yes.
No, yeah. I don't think I think I'm in some kind of trouble.
My notes.
Oh, no! Don't you write anything down.
Got all kind of stuff written down here.
But all of a sudden, Dr. Reeves takes charge and knocks Metalhead out with some swift karate kicks. She mentioned to Books earlier she was a black belt, which ties in beautifully with my Kung Fu Robot IPA. If you'll read the episode page, I don't think you'll be surprised who wins the pairing grade for tonight.
Oh, we're never surprised since you write them. They tell us you're a podcaster, Cade. You're sure not much of a dresser. We wear green on St. Patrick's Day.
This is green. This is green. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm wearing green.
It's more of an olive.
Which is a variation of green. Am I wrong?
It's a lesser green.
Back in the lab, it turns out that the crazy serum that the Leprechaun injected in Dr. Mittenhand has mutated him into a giant slimy spider creature. Equal parts man, computer, and spider, that is. He's no longer Dr. Mittenhand, he declares. I'm Dr. Mitten Spider.
Ugh.
Flies. I need flies. Bring me flies. Oh, man. He's hungry for flies, boys. Meanwhile, the
sergeant's drag dance, and then this, I would have thought.
See, this is when I'm waking up to this movie. This is when I'm like, all right, I was on snooze, but now I'm waking up to this fucking thing.
I'm kind of a doctor. I'm kind of going on snooze.
You guys were on board earlier, and now you're ditching it. I was dismissed earlier, but now I'm like, all right, they're giving me some shit here. I think Yaks, are you with me? Boring. Oh shit, we got a spider doctor. Now things are getting real.
I can agree. I can.
See, I'm going fun drinking movie, and wait, I've been drinking, right? Because I think I'm having delirium tremens now, but
I'm drinking, so that doesn't make sense.
I'm drinking, so that can't be.
Meanwhile, the Leprechaun and his bride, Princess Zarina, are programming the ship to self-destruct so nobody can follow the newlyweds and possibly steal his precious gold coins. The ship's computer voice announces that it will blow up in 20 minutes. And, get this, there's exactly 20 minutes left in the movie. I really appreciate it when they correctly time out the self-destruct thing to the actual running time of the movie. I like that. Hey, Cade, what'd you like best about Leprechaun 4? Well, I like that frying pan sound effect and the fact that the ship self-destruct thing timed out well with the actual running time of the movie. That's my praise for this movie.
Okay.
A sound effect, and they timed out that shit. The two are really getting on each other's nerves, though, now. The Leprechaun and Zarina. He calls her a ball-busting bitch. And she calls him a twerp. Both slurs are very accurate. I thought they fit very accurately at this point. Dude, he is a twerp.
He's a mischievous little twerp.
And I don't use that slur enough. I call more guys twerps.
Whatever, dick face.
Dude, what about a combination? You dickhead twerp.
Dude,
that's pretty good. You fucking dick face twerp.
It's kind of like Fritz Beer's line from Underbelly. You dunce puke. You dickhead twerp.
I was pretty proud of that one. You dunce head puke.
No, just you dunce puke. You dickhead twerp.
We jump back to the entertainment room where Sergeant Metalhead has popped back into action. He woke up. Only he's having a dueling personality crisis where 1 second he's talking in a high-pitched girl voice, and the next he's back to his Marine drill sergeant Wheel Fortune barking voice. This character surprised me in that he started off so damn bad and cringe-inducing, I almost turned the movie off in that opening scene, but this actor actually ended up making it a fun performance to watch. Bravo, Tim Colseri. That's his name.
I never think that anything about it is cringe-inducing. It's just all of a sudden, then he's dancing with drag, and then there's the Scorpion Spider-Man, and I'm kind of having that reaction I had when we watched Tusk and Justin Long all of a sudden becomes Walrus Boy, and I'm going, what the goddamn fuck is going on?
In that opening scene, I'm like, if this is what this guy's going to be, the whole thing, I'm out. But he actually turned the corner there. Did you guys recognize him at all?
I thought I should, but I don't. I never did. I never placed him.
He was in Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. He played the helicopter door gunner in the chopper. Get some!
Oh, dude, yeah, totally.
He's get some.
So many women and children. You don't lead them so much.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude, it is him completely.
You should write a story about me.
Here's the thing. I'm a huge Kubrick
fucking good.
I'm a huge Kubrick fan. I didn't recognize him from that. I recognized him from the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Eraser. He played the security guard at the Cyrex Corporation when Robert Pastorelli shows up with the fake pizza and fakes the seizures. He's the security guard in that scene.
Oh my goodness.
And
he looks so goddamn familiar.
And he also starred in a flick called Space Girls in Beverly Hills, which were us. I'm sure we'll get to eventually on the Tuesday Night Cigar Club.
I'm not writing notes or anything.
It's not available for streaming now. I'll find it. We'll get it. It's on the list. But yeah, he's the gunner from Full Metal Jacket. Holy shit.
I can totally see the guy right now.
That right there alone is one of the most, I mean, in terms of film, in terms for that movie.
No, that was
one of the. It has been parodied and parroted so much in so many other things.
That was his claim to fame. He would go to all these conventions and get some and sign these pictures with him in the chopper. Like that's his bread and butter, man, his Full Metal Jacket. Believe it or not, that's his bread and butter, not Leprechaun 4 in space.
I show up to the convention and he's got his Get Some sign in there. I'm like, do you have one of your role in Leprechaun 4 in the gold miniskirt?
Do you have a 8x10 of you saying, hey, dickhead, drop your test tubes and I want to get drunk?
Dude, he's a Darth Vader on Tut. He grabs you by the throat and lifts you 6 inches off the ground. Nobody mentions Leprechaun 4. Get some.
Well, Metalhead slips up and rams his bayonet into a light socket. And that doesn't result in good things for him. Imagine that, factoring that his head is metal. When he collapses to the floor, his head cracks open, revealing that he was actually a cyborg robot all along. Like the Kung Fu Robot IPA I selected for my second beer. Hey, he may have been a robot, but he was still a Marine, says the Satin Sticks. The best, says Books, with somehow a straight face. Dude, how'd those guys deliver those lines straight face? Well, Books may have said that line with a straight face, but you know what I can say with a totally straight face, boys?
What's that?
Because it's the God's honest truth. Drew Estate produces an amazing variety of absolutely sublime cigars. Tut, do you think they'll have Drew Estate cigars in the future?
Yes.
I'd like to smoke a flying feral pig in outer space. That'd be neat.
The feral pig in space?
Yeah.
Feral pigs in space.
I would like to smoke a feral pig in space. Well, speaking of Drew Estate, let's talk about one of their newer offerings for a hot minute. Crafted by Level 9 Cuban rollers at the famed El Titan de Bronze in Calle Ocho, the Herrera Esteli Miami line is expertly rolled with a lavish Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro wrapper over a rich Ecuadorian Sumatran binder with select fillers from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. The new look of Herrera Esteli Miami features a rich black and gold packaging. It's sharp. It's a very sharp looking packaging. And it's available in 5 sizes. I smoked the cigar a few times, and I can honestly say it is truly one of Willie Herrera's masterpieces. So jump in your car or jump online right now and get your hands on some. What are you waiting for? We'll wait. Go get you some. No, we'll wait. Guys, just settle and wait.
All right. Oh, are we done waiting? Did they get them?
We are. Yax, have you transitioned to your second cigar after your 2 hour long, or I'm sorry, your second beer after your 2 hour long one beer?
I've got 2 sips left. And
oh, yes, you son of a bitch. You're still in that first beer.
Well, it's a 16% beer. I'm full of happiness right now.
So dude, I know the week you're facing. You're making the smart choice.
You got St. Patty's Day coming up. You're playing it safe. I get it. I'm not going to fault you for that. But I think your hat might be in for a elongation very soon, because here's what I'm going to tell you. The Leprechaun and Princess Serena place a force field over the escape shuttle so nobody else can use it while they search the cargo bay for his gold coins. They haven't even walked down the aisle yet, and they're continuously bickering back and forth like an old married couple. When she tells him that she's had many rich suitors over the years and she could always marry someone else because of how breathtakingly beautiful she is, well, he puts an ugly spell on her really quick, and that takes care of that. Doctor, when she looks in the mirror at her face, what does the Leprechaun say?
Shut your cake hole, you oozing great zit.
He calls her an oozy great zit. Terrible. When Styx heads back to the lab to find a way to remove the force field, he's attacked by Dr. Mitten Spider. And I love how he swats at Dr. Mitten Spider with his ball cap, like you would if you saw a spider out. Like you walk out on your deck and the spider's hanging down, you like swat at it with your ball cap. Dude, that's what Styx does. He just grabs his ball cap and starts swatting at him. He's slowly covered, encased with spider webs, but Styx manages to access the ship's computer system. But without a password, he can't deactivate the self-destruct counter. Meanwhile, in the cargo bay, a now shirtless Books and Dr. Reeves are involved in yet another shootout with the Leprechaun. Anytime that little Leprechaun's got a laser gun, they're shooting out. I love it. I love that shit. Dr. Reeves blasts the little asshole with the ray beam that Dr. Mittenhand created to shrink and enlarge objects on the ship. And you guessed it, the little asshole suddenly grows 24 feet tall into an enormous towering asshole. It's a huge leprechaun. Oh my God. He tries to stomp on Books with his now giant little leather boots over and over again. There's actually some really pretty cool trick photography here in the scene.
Would have been better if he said, "Fee, fi, fo, fum, now I'll be sticking me shoe in your bum."
Again, Doctor, for free, you're giving them better lines. But dude, they actually made a miniature set where the leprechaun looks huge. They did some stuff here that looks kind of cool, and they made it work to their advantage. Books manages to sneak out of the room, rescuing Princess Serena along the way for some reason. I don't know why. She's clearly on the leprechaun side at this point, but he's insistent that he rescue her. He's a good Marine. Good Marine. Right as the enormous he gets her out of the cargo bay, right as the enormous exterior hatch to the cargo bay opens up, sucking the giant leprechaun out into space, where he once again, for like the third or fourth time in this movie, explodes into a million pieces. Dr. Reeves races back to the lab to help Styx with the password. They're about to blow up. She's attacked by Dr. Mitten Spider along the way, and he rips off her pants and eats them, which I appreciated, as she's just now wearing a high-cut black one-piece swimsuit.
Well,
that's how they did it back then.
Okay.
Or 200 years in the future.
I shouldn't question this at all. Not at this point.
No, I'm not questioning anything at this point.
Well, Dr. Reeves does not appreciate it one bit. So she sprays Dr. Mitten Spider with some form of liquid nitrogen, freezing the mad scientist in his tracks so she can then shoot him into a million pieces. There's a lot of people dying this movie by being blasted into a million. I haven't written into a million pieces ever this many times.
Metaphor for their careers?
Hey, she did go on to be in the...
I was about to say, they blew up into some soap opera stuff.
And she was a three episode regular on 90210, our favorite show of all time.
And Sunny in Philadelphia.
And she apparently reoccurs as the weather woman on Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Yax, when she got stripped down to that black swimsuit, did that make your hat do anything? Can I get a hubba dubba doo?
Hubba dubba doo!
There we go. Where'd you go, Tut? Get back in here.
Oh.
That's done. Fuck it.
There's no escaping this.
There's not. There's really not.
Wait, I'll take this hat off and use it as the megaphone that it is.
Dr. Reeves and Stick start typing in several potential passwords into the computer that Dr. Midman might have created to stop the self-destruct sequence. I love when Stick says, "Try the word scientist." He was a scientist.
I just like the dude. No, he's just fun to watch.
It'd be like somebody trying to break into my computer. Try the word drunk.
Alcoholic 1 exclamation point.
Eventually, Books.
I like the use of the exclamation point, by the way. That's good. That's good password security right there.
Got some security.
It is. Eventually, Books runs into the lab, and they all figure out that the password is wizard. Because remember, he said he was like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. With just seconds to spare, the computer voice announces they are now safe, and Books and Dr. Reeves start making out. Yax?
Oh.
He wants the hat. He wants the hat.
Boom. It is now fully extended.
We got there. We got there. Nobody asked her why she's wearing a swimsuit, by the way. It doesn't matter. Through the mothership's windshield, they watch as the Leprechaun's blown-up body parts float around in space. His little wrinkled hand with the gnarly nails floats up to the window front and center and gives them the middle finger.
I like that part. I'm sorry.
As a bass drum thuds like in 2001 Space Odyssey. Dun, 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 dun. That was
dun, 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 dun.
Sticks. Hey, Miguel Nunez gets to live for once. He looks over at Dr. Reeves and says, "You're officially a Marine now." The end. Well, until Leprechaun 5 in the Hood 4 years later. Which I'm sure I'll forget that I hate Leprechaun movies and we'll do next year.
Well, and there's the other thing. He, just like Leprechaun 3, we don't know how he got into space. He blows up here. How'd he end up in the hood? I feel like I need to watch Leprechaun in the Hood quickly to see if he like falls like from a meteor or if all of a sudden he's just in the hood.
He's just in the hood. I think I've actually seen it.
I think that's where they're gonna go, Tut. I don't think they're bothered with continuity.
Hey, something. I can't believe I'm saying this. We have something to look forward to next March. Leprechaun in the Hood.
No,
look, maybe when we get to Leprechaun 15, they'll explain how he got into space.
I'm actually going to jump ahead.
Future, obviously.
I'm actually going to jump ahead to Leprechaun 7, Back to the Hood.
Yeah.
I don't care about his
6. That would be 6.
Oh, 6. I'm not going to care about his first trip to the Hood. I want to know why he goes back to the Hood.
I don't know. Right, well, the first trip to the Hood's got iced tea in it. I mean, come on.
I'll do my parkade. I see Leprechaun Back to the Hood being in my future tomorrow.
That's why you're the doctor. You're a scientist. You can't fight the need to know in your belly.
I can't fight what's inside of me.
We're here in the streets, Leprechaun.
Oh, dude, he's got to go back to his. All right, I got to watch it. There's got to be limericks in that again.
How can you be among rappers?
What kind of rap is that?
Mess with me and you'll be in the ditches. But meanwhile, it's time for me to clock for my bitches.
Hey, that's some dope shit you're spitting there.
Get out of my face. My rhymes are still fresher than third base.
I was actually,
you spent too much time walking in the halls. I'll be drinking a fresh corn 8-ball.
Doctor, you and I should probably
That's some stereotypical shit right there.
Yeah, we're getting canceled.
It's my iced tea impression. It's not good, but, I'm going for it.
Doctor and I are going to write a new sequel. Leprechaun Goes Back to the Hood for the third time. I know it's not a catchy title. Third time's a charm.
A lot of people thought Leprechaun 4 should have been the end, though, but now I'm in Inglewood smoking the endo.
There you go. There you go.
It's all working out just the way we planned.
Well, I appreciated the attempt to do something fresh with the Leprechaun. I don't know why I didn't like this flick as much as I feel I should have. It had some funny moments, mainly due to Metalhead and Dr. Mittenhand. It had some outrageous moments, mainly due to Metalhead and Dr. Mittenhand. But the sum of all the parts, it should have worked like it did for Tut, but it just didn't.
It didn't work for me. It only worked because, like I said, I set the bar so low. I knew what I was getting into. I think that it just lacked a little bit of heart. I mean, there's just, there's some projects that don't have a lot of assets, but that heart shows through.
It didn't have heart, Tut.
It didn't have it.
I think if he had made 4 or 5 little cheesy zinger rhymes, and everything else was the same,
just get in the spirit of it.
Made his little limericks.
I
enjoy this immensely more.
I think the criminal that we're pointing our fingers at here is the screenwriter.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of seemed like a money grab project. Like, let's just do this because it's going to net us some dollars, and that's about it.
I thought they aimed short. I will say on the surface, respected the hell out of sending this little fucker into space. Hey, man, it's premature. It took Jason 10 movies to get sent into space. 4 movies in, they're like, let's get this little fucker out of there and do something. I'm done with Leprechaun movies. We're not going to do another Leprechaun movie. I don't care how good those Hood movies are. I've heard actually one of the Hood movies is really, really good from a filmmaking standpoint. But we're not going to do it. We're gonna come up with something more creative next St. Patty's Day.
Let's not compare an icon. Let's not compare an all-time horror icon in Jason Voorhees to the Leprechaun. It took a long time. Every one of those movies was released theatrically. These stopped after part 2. They were
that's a very fair point.
It took a long time for Friday movies to not make money.
Doctor, that's a very fair point. If you're asking me to make a totem pole of the trifecta or more of horror icons, Leprechaun is nowhere near
the echelon.
It's impressive that they made 4 movies in 4 consecutive years.
Yeah.
But in Friday the 13th, they made 8 movies in a 10-year period from 1980 to 89, the greatest decade that ever has been.
Yeah.
They made 8 movies in those 10 calendar years.
Well, here's the great thing. The only great thing about Leprechaun Porn Space. Eventually, we got Yak Boy's hat to extend to full erection. And I think maybe people listening will get a great grasp of the Leprechaun franchise and this story and get some laughs. And then, much like us, they'll be just ready to move on. Tut, do what you do so good.
Speaking of moving on, if you want to join us on Twitter, you can join us at TNCC Cast. If you want to hit us up on Instagram, see all the lovely pictures there, you can join us at TNCC_podcast. You can feel free to join us on Facebook, Tuesday Night Cigar Club. Definitely subscribe to us and smash that like button on YouTube at Tuesday Night Cigar Club. And by the way, if you wanted to buy a podcast or a birthday present that's coming up, you can go to Amazon. You can go to TuesdayNightCigarClub.com. Click on the Amazon banner, do your shopping from there, buy me a gift for my birthday. I'll think you're wonderful for it, and you'll help us be keeping the lights on around here. And if you want to buy this wonderful freaking Mackinudo cigar for $7.50, go to Tuesday Night Cigar Club, click on the famous smoke shop banner there.
How many Guinnesses have you had?
Shush. And then do your shopping from there. If you buy $100 or more, it'll automatically enter the promo code TNCC20 for you. You'll save $20 on it. It's just like saving 20%. That's awesome.
Breathe. I think you did it.
Thank you.
Yak Boy, did he get everything?
He did.
By the way, if you're jammed for time and you don't have a lot of smokes, pick up the Drew Estate Sun-Grown, the Coronitas, and man, there you go. It'll fill your gap.
And they're all often available at a discounted rate on scarmonster.com. Free shipping. Load up 4 of those in your cart, and then enter TNCC 20, and you are saving $20 on some stellar quick smokes.
I got 30 minutes before my calculus class. Hit it.
Best quick smokes in the business, brothers and sisters of the Leaf. Okay, well, thanks for joining us for the big drinking some more, smoking and drinking extravaganza bonanza. I think we kept the tradition alive. I think it was a fun show. Do you guys?
Laurel, welcome to the TNCC family.
Yeah,
and Laurel,
big shout out to Laurel for joining us.
Thank you for Laurel,
absolutely
for joining us, and thank you for Mackinudo for, as of now, being a new sponsor of the show. We'll see what they think of
one show deal.
We'll see what they think of where the shit went from there. But you know what? That's okay. We're dependent on no one, and we do what we do unapologetically. I said that Wheel Fortune style because I didn't want to drunk slur it. We do what we do unapologetically. And I'll say this next thing, Wheel Fortune style. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Don't listen to Texas. Keep protecting yourselves and your loved ones, and we will be through this soon. See you in 2 weeks. Sayonara, motherfuckers. See you in 2 weeks. Be good.
Learn more about the time I celebrated St. Patrick's Day by squeezing my muscular thighs into a skin-tight leprechaun costume, and then proceeded to go to every Applebee's location in the northeastern Ohio area, demanding that anybody sample me Lucky Charms. Well, don't be shy, me laddies. All you have to do is ask me about it. So, did I have any takers? Have you seen my muscular thighs? I've been told my thighs are so muscular you can actually hear them in my voice. Of course I had some takers. You'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't, at how many horny office workers take the afternoon off on St. Paddy's Day and head straight over to their neighborhood Applebee's for some mozzarella sticks and bizarre sexual shenanigans. Like, it's a really high number, folks. Your Lucky Charms were exhausted. Anywho, you can learn more about the cigars enjoyed on tonight's episode by visiting www.mackanudo.com. For more on O'Brien's Irish Pub, the live music leader in Central Texas, please visit o'briensimple.com and download their free smartphone app, where you'll find full beer listings including over 40 on tap, menu information, and a calendar of upcoming live events. To listen and purchase music heard on tonight's program, check out www.fritzbeermusic.com. Thank you for listening to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. This is Keith A. Howell saying until next time, friends, unless we see you sooner at the pub. So keep it smoky, and for God's sake, keep it ballsy as well.
Go to work, get drunk, go to sleep, I get